Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town. Try that in a small town.
Columbus. This is Sportsvisions 92.1. You're listening to the Sportsvisions Morning Show, brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Good Monday morning and welcome everybody to another edition of the Sportsvisions Morning Show. I am DJ Jones, Walter and Betty Jones's baby boy, Coach Bush's grandson, the Thrifter. The award-winning producer is in the building. What's up, Thrift?
What is going on, DJ?
Good morning to you, man. Good morning to you. And, of course, on our right, on my right, your left, Richie Rich. What's up, bro?
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody had a great weekend.
Great weekend indeed. Happy President's Day for all of those of you out there that's celebrating to have the day off. At least, again, thanks for waking up with us and giving us an opportunity to, of course, enlighten you on all the things that have happened over the weekend, because we have a loaded show with all of that great information. And I want to, first of all, let me just say hello to everybody out there in Facebook land. We appreciate you being here. And, of course, we know that you could be doing anything else in the world, including you could still be asleep. But you're up watching us, and we're happy to be here. We're excited that we've had so much good action over the weekend to bring you from local, regional, and national sports. It's just a great opportunity to be here. And, again, want to make sure that you, when you do get up and about, tell a friend to tell a friend that the Sportsvisions Morning Show is on the air now, right now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, right now, because we have something for you this morning. All right. And for all you folks out there in WLTC HD2, Sportsvisions 92.1 land, we love you. And it ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
Hello, somebody.
Let's get this party started, gentlemen. Hey, man, look, I got my hat on because it's cold outside. 34 degrees, Thrift. What's going on?
I mean, it just comes out of nowhere. It is absolutely freezing. Yeah, the tornado that was coming through this area, and it was just scary from yesterday morning, and we hope everybody's safe, and now it's super cold.
Rich, I tell you, man, you got the day off. I know that, you're in here doing what you love, but again, just a great and a fabulous weekend. You guys are off the chain, man. You were running nonstop.
It was truly a fantastic weekend. It was disrupted by waking up at 4 a.m. on Sunday, my alarm going off. I had to pull up the phone and then try to see the weather. Like, me and my family went underneath on the first floor of the house. We got a little closet that we just tucked away, but luckily the storm passed and everybody is safe. But a busy weekend indeed, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Absolutely. We'll get started in just a little bit, but let me just tell you what we got on slate for you here, man. We got some exciting guests, as we have had for the last month or so, and again, it just gets incredibly exciting to have these folks to bring before you. Tony Montgomery is going to join us at 7:30. He's the sharpshooting point guard, or actually shooting guard from Carver High School. He is, I guess, every bit of all-state. Some people might think All-American, but he signed with Troy, and we'll talk to him as he get ready to lead his Carver Tigers, who will be hosting Thrift until, I guess, the Final Four. They'll be up on the hill.
Yeah, they'll be up on the hill. They'll be hosting multiple rounds, so we look forward to seeing them.
Bryant Thomas, of course, the women's or the girls basketball coach at Pacelli. Of course, Brian Thomas has a history within itself, and we'll get an opportunity to introduce you to Brian Thomas, because not only is he a great basketball coach, he's a great person. He and, of course, Corey Black, they've been tag teaming for quite some time with CB Hoops and all the great events that they've been bringing to the city. So much to unpack with Brian Thomas. He's a silent one, but he's going to take the main stage today.
Yeah, Pacelli is the 3 seed going into the playoffs, but I still think they are the favorites in the GIAA. They got a pretty favorable matchup. They got a first-round bye, and they will actually await the winner of the 6-11 seed, and they'll get a quarterfinal game. It's going to be in Macon, because the GIAA has all their quarterfinal games up in Macon. So I can't wait to see what Coach Thomas does in getting the Pacelli girls ready for the playoffs.
And at 8:30, Coach Larry Knox, I call him Coach, but he's the athletic director over at Russell County. And, man, I had an opportunity to catch up with him, Richard, down at the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame induction service ceremony, actually Saturday morning. And we had an opportunity to chit-chat a little bit. They have some wonderful things going over at the county over in Russell County, man. I can't wait to talk to him and let him unfold all of the information. Great upgrades and facilities, man. That community is really getting behind that program, and they're coming up with some great things. But some state of the art things happening with the facilities, and I just it's a credit to Coach Knox and of course all the coaches and of course those players over there at Russell County.
Yeah, they've really done a great job upgrading their facilities. I know that there's more on the horizon, but Coach Knox, as he took over as the athletic director, the programs have really improved, and they have seen success.
I was talking to you earlier, Richard. Obviously, the best event for me over the weekend was the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 10 o'clock at the Convention and Trade Center here in Columbus. Man, that was a great program, and I was really excited because, again, a good friend of mine, in particularly Gary Ingram, went in along with some fabulous other people.
Yeah, it truly was a great program. Scott Miller did a great job with the emceeing, and then Bill Scoggins with the intro videos. I loved hearing the speeches. Coach Tim Fanning's speech was emotional, obviously, because if you don't know his story, I loved hearing the Gary Ingram just not only being a player, but also just a teacher of the game. And it was just great to hear about like Adam Thomas at CVCC. And also you also had a very special moment because you had Jim Creek, the Jordan head coach, going in with his former player, Tree Williams. And that was a great moment as well.
So officially, congratulations to the class of 2025, James Jim Creek, Tim Fanning, Gary Ingram, Adam Thomas, Tawana Williams, and of course, not a whole lot of announcement or mention have been made, but they also inducted Wiley Petty. That's Tipton Wiley Petty, and again, congratulations to a great class. Great, I enjoyed thoroughly. You did, those speeches were they were very emotional. They were very enlightening, and just an overall great program and a good job by the Chattahoochee Valley Sports Hall of Fame board, and of course, Leo is the fearless leader of that group. So we thank him much. Guys, I know that you got a lot to unpack. So first and foremost, I guess, Thrift, we'll start with you. And I know that you had your guns loaded this weekend, and no pun intended, but you guys, you did an incredible job, and you got some games called, and I'll let you take over and tell everybody out there what went on in your life.
Yeah, we had an incredibly busy, really 5 days. It was nonstop doing both region tournaments for Pacelli, Brookstone, and Calvary, and then Muskogee County. And then we even added in the Muskogee County Middle School Championship on Thursday at Columbus State. So nonstop action. We were able to crown multiple champions. Pacelli boys and girls won the region championship for the GIAA on Friday night. And then on Saturday, the Carver boys took down Spencer in what was a very competitive game. Spencer battled back without one of their better players, Marcus Horn, and they were down as many as 21 and closed it to 6 late in the fourth. And then Carver took back over and ended up winning it by like 18 or so, but it was a lot closer than that. And then for the girls, Hardaway took down Sumter County, so they are region champs. So congratulations to both those teams and Pacelli, as they are all going to be hosting a lot of playoff games, or specifically Hardaway and Carver. Pacelli, because of the way GIAA works, they actually will not be hosting another game at Pacelli because they're going to be the quarterfinals at a neutral location, which they got to buy till then. And then they have the semifinals and the finals the next week at Columbus State. So they're 3 wins away from being champions.
Richard, I tell you, you know what? You didn't take a back seat to anything. You had your hands loaded, had hands full as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just grinding at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I even got to call a baseball game, and it was actually a well-attended baseball game Saturday afternoon, or between Columbus and Northside. And our friend of the show, Gerald Bedgood, first person there. He had a seat right on the third base line. Gerald, he loves baseball. And it was a great pitching duel between Michael Dodelman and Sam Laney. And Caden Clay made an incredible diving catch in the outfield, the quarterback for Northside. And Columbus ended up winning that game 2-1. And then after the game, I just drove 10 minutes down the road to Hardaway to help Thrift out with the championship game between Hardaway and Sumter County. And then we had a little bit of a break, about an hour. And everybody had to pack up and get ready and go down the road to Columbus for the consolation game between Shaw and Sumter County. Thrift and I called that, and Shaw ended up winning. And so they secured their spot in the playoff, getting third place in the region. Congratulations to the Shaw Raiders. And then, of course, the Carver-Spencer game, that was the game that everybody was anticipated. And then yesterday morning, the brackets came out. And there are some interesting brackets, interesting matchups. And I admit, I got a little fired up about it because the way they do the brackets, especially for 3A schools and up to the private schools, it just doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. All right. Well, first and foremost, I want to say good morning to Candy Lowe, my beautiful wife, who was feeling much better. We had an opportunity to go down to, of course, the Riverwalk yesterday. And, man, I don't know if you guys have been down there to see how the water has risen, but it's up over the Riverwalk. And but it was beautiful yesterday. We had an opportunity to kind of take a little walk, spend some time, get some fresh air because she had been under the weather for most of the week. We actually were in Tampa last weekend and coming home for actually Super Bowl weekend. We came home and she wasn't feeling well. However, she was able to pull it together, guys. Man, let me tell you something. My wife cooked me my favorite meal, and she cooked oxtails, rice and peas, rice and beans, black beans to be exact, and collard greens mixed with cabbage, cornbread. Man, you know what? It was just a great time, just to relax. We were talking about Valentine's Day and all the things that go in and get in line. You know what I did? I actually went out to Publix and got some crab legs and some shrimp and didn't worry about, of course, going into the restaurants. We came back. They actually steam them for you and they season them for you right there in the store. And you'll be amazed. If you eat crab legs and if you eat shrimp on a regular basis, there's a big difference of going out to Publix and going in the seafood section and letting them steam them and season them, and then you taking them back home. Actually, when you get to the cash register, you probably could have paid for 5 people at the restaurant what you paid for you and your guest, as opposed to going and getting all the seafood. And I was able to get some king crab legs, and I mean, it was just amazing what I was able to do, how we were able to celebrate. And we started it off with that and ended up with the oxtails and rice and beans and cabbages and greens. And y'all know I'm a foodie, so I'm gonna definitely throw my food in my menu out there. But thank you, honey. I appreciate it. Everything. I know you weren't working 100%, but you were. Your cooking was very, very good. How did you guys end up doing with the rest of your Valentine's Day weekend?
Yeah, well, I spent all day Valentine's Day from 2:00 till 10:30 calling basketball games, but luckily I did make sure Natalie was celebrated and appreciated. She got a facial done, nails done, and I made sure that she had her favorite food delivered because she just wanted to sit back, relax, and read her book. We were able to have some family time on Sunday, and then Saturday she came out and actually helped because we did the halftime challenge. We gave away years worth of free Pepsi to 2 different people, excuse me. Yeah. And I needed help doing that, orchestrating that at halftime. So she spent her day on Saturday coming and watch some basketball, but then able to do the family thing on Sunday. That was the big thing. And hopefully today we're going to go watch a movie, Mufasa. I'm actually going to go see that later this afternoon because the kids are out, especially really everyone's out right now for President's Day.
Absolutely. And Richard, I know that you said that you guys were going to, put it off until maybe today.
Well, we actually spent time together yesterday, went to a birthday party at the Harris County pool.
Okay.
And, the kids had a lot of fun, and we actually didn't go out to a restaurant yesterday. We actually, I went to get it to bring it back to the family. And then I got a picky eater in my family who doesn't want what we want. So I got to go to a completely different restaurant and get something for that person. I'm not going to name names.
Please don't, because I tell you what, my mom would have said, you're eating what you're eating, or you're going to your room and you ain't eating. There was no 2 restaurants when I was growing up.
But yeah, later this afternoon, actually, I'm actually going to be producing a baseball game featuring Dave Plata. He is going to be the play-by-play announcer for Shaw Pacelli. I'm actually excited to work alongside with Dave Plata. I don't think we've ever worked together doing anything as far as broadcasting related, but I'm excited. I know he's excited too. He was sending me graphics last night, and I can't wait. Just the opener, Pacelli and Shaw. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Where are they going to play this game?
They're going to play it at Dymel Field.
Field.
So the weather that happened, with the rain that came in, that it's not going to affect the field because the field is turf. But I'm looking forward to seeing the debut of Case Rasmus, one of the Rasmus kids. He's making his debut as the Pacelli baseball coach. And, of course, Shaw making the playoffs the last couple of years. It's going to be fun.
Tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and take a break. When we come back, number 1 versus number 2 in Tuscaloosa. Man, we'll find out what you guys think about that. You're watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 92.1. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Police have charged Travis Rivers with murder after 2 people were found shot inside a burned house in Troup County. Jabrika Williams and Roderick Kennedy were discovered dead on February 8th. Rivers was already in jail on unrelated charges and now faces multiple felony counts. Stay with News 3 both on air and online for updates on this case. A North Columbus family narrowly escaped disaster after strong storms uprooted trees that crashed into their home. Evan Thormer says emergency sirens alerted them just in time to get to safety. Despite severe damage, everyone made it out unharmed.
We hadn't gotten those warnings. There's a very good likelihood that we'd be worried about more than just a house.
Republican Dale Washburn of Macon introduced House Bill 225, which intends to ban school zone speed cameras and repeal House Bill 978 that passed in 2018, which allowed for the use of the cameras. Washburn believes these cameras in school zones do not make this area any safer. Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson says since the implementation of the cameras, there have not been any encounters between children and vehicles. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are starting off the day a lot quieter as those temperatures continue to fall closer to freezing by daybreak. Midday readings will be climbing into the mid-40s under plenty of sunshine, and it's going to be cooler this afternoon under those clear sky conditions, but those highs do reach the low 50s. Cold tonight with patchy frost likely, lows dropping to near freezing, and tomorrow we'll be watching clouds increase with those temperatures closer to 60.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
It's time to maximize your savings with a Ford Truck Month sales event at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Whether you're conquering tough jobs every day of the week or heading off-road on your next great adventure, score great offers now on built tough trucks. Like an all-new 2024 Ford F-150 with available 3.9% APR financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers, plus $3,350 in total incentives with available best-in-class 13,500 pounds maximum towing, Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving, and seating for up to 6. Tough this smart can only be called an F-150. Get ready to unlock the power of the Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck for more than 4 decades. Take advantage of this offer and more during Ford Truck Month at Rivertown Ford, in person or online at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. Offer expires March 3rd, 2025. See dealer for complete details.
Get ready. It's almost time for the 16th annual Alzheimer's Association Dancing Stars of Columbus. Make plans to be a part of this exciting night, Thursday, February 27th at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center, all to support the Alzheimer's Association. The 2025 Dancing Stars, made up of community champions, are paired with professional partners to raise funds to support those directly affected by Alzheimer's. Visit sportsvision921.com to buy a ticket, buy a table, or make a donation today.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the AHSAA and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Covering local and national sports. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show on Sports Visions 92.1. Drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Green Bay Packers. Here's DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge. Big shout out to William Byron. He battled the rain to win his second Daytona in a row. The Daytona 500 at the International Speedway down in Daytona, Florida. Man, I guess, guys, you know what? I'm not a big race car, NASCAR guy, but I do get excited about the big races, man. Did you guys catch any of that action?
I did not catch not 1 second of it, but I did see that, and he's wearing and he drives number 24, so that made me think he's trying to be like Big Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I saw a little bit of it.
I know you would have. That's your thing. I mean, you're going to get a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
That's
Richard,
your Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, Richard's going to definitely watch some NASCAR. That's a NASCAR man right there.
Exactly. I tell you what we did watch. Obviously, Auburn, ranked number 1 in the country, went up to Tuscaloosa and got a win, beat number 2 Alabama. And I tell you, man, it was an exciting game. And Janai Broome with 19 points and 14 rebounds. I mean, again, nothing surprising, but that was a big road win for the Auburn Tigers, Thrift.
Yeah, it was. And to see them go into Tuscaloosa and take down Alabama the way they did, really from start to finish, they went wire to wire and never gave Alabama the lead. They did have a chance where they tied it, but Broome came up big. He would stop runs. And really, it was an overall team effort, showing why they're the best team in the country. They had 6 guys with 13 points or more. 6. And then you add in what Dylan Carver was able to do with getting blocking shots, rebounding, being a big body inside. They're deep, they're loaded, and they know how to win. And they got a bunch of senior experience. I was so impressed. It was the best win of anyone this year. And to be honest with you, Auburn would have to really lose out, in my opinion, to not be at least a top 2 seed. What they've done now with 10 top 25 wins, 15 quad 1 wins, for those who don't know, that's like where they like breaking down your schedule: quad 1, quad 2, quad 3, quad 4. Quad 1 means you're playing against teams that are going to be in the NCAA tournament, and they got 15 of those, and that's almost more than anyone in the history of the game. So this has been an incredible year, and what a win for the Auburn Tigers and Bruce Pearl to go in Alabama and shut them up like that. That's pretty incredible.
Rich, I want to ask you this question regarding Auburn's lineup. And again, they have a very mature bunch of young men who obviously have played a lot of basketball, gotten a lot of reps, that have impeccable basketball acumen. And again, when you're talking about a college team that has a bunch of 22, 23-year-olds versus playing the teams with 18, 19, 20-year-olds, you know what, you expect that maturity, but it's at the same time, you still have to put it all together. And that's what Bruce Pearl has been able to motivate these guys that are more mature and just getting the job done.
Well, they have a mixture of veteran players like Janai Broome, Chad Baker-Mazar, but they also have the freshman, Tashad Pettiford.
Tahad.
Guard play, Tahad.
Yeah, Tahad Pettiford.
Tahad. Yeah, but they also have the guard play, and it's been incredible. I mean, you talk about Denver Jones, Miles Kelly in that backcourt. This starting 5 for Auburn, I mean, I'm not saying it rivals some of the starting 5. Like when I was a kid, some of the most dominant teams, they had like a dominant starting 5. All 5 players played in the NBA. We know some of the teams like that. I know that John Calipari had a run with Kentucky where pretty much all 5 players were drafted.
Yeah.
And then the UNLV in the 90s, that was a legit starting five. And I think this Auburn team, that they got the starting five to do it, to win the championship.
If I want to ask you the question that I asked Richard, that he didn't give me the answer that I was looking for, but I think that you might want to go ahead and just expound a little bit on the maturity factor.
And this is what I've said about last week and where the game is going. And when we have talked college basketball, same with Mike G, the last couple of years of national champions have had guys that are played 3, 4, 5 years in college basketball. Maker Mazar has been there for 4 years. This is year 5 for Denver, year 5 for Dylan Cardwell, year 5 for Janai Broome. These guys have been playing a lot of basketball. These are grown men, 23, 24 years old. The days of, and I know you may mention, there's probably maybe 1 or 2 NBA guys on that roster. I don't see a Different Jones being, he may, but I see more of him a G League overseas. There's not even that team from Auburn from 3 or 4 years ago with Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, I think had better maybe NBA talent, but I don't think you need NBA talent to win NCAA championships. Ask UConn these last couple of years. Baylor, I didn't see a lot of NBA talent on that team or guys that are making a huge impact in the NBA. What I saw was veteran experience, and Bruce Pearl's got it. And that's how you can go into Alabama, make them make this comeback. Most time for people, and a game like that, DJ, you know this, when you're up 15 and you blow that lead, and it's now a tie game, if you don't have veteran leaders, you're probably going to lose it. They end up winning by 9.
Absolutely. Hey, now, again, keeping it right there at Auburn, obviously, the girls or the women's basketball team, they were in action, but definitely a different flavor to their story. Obviously, the Vanderbilt's Michaela Blakes scored a Division I women's freshman record with 55 points in Vandy's 98-88 overtime win over the Auburn Tigers yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a tough year for Johnny Harris, excuse me.
Yeah.
I know Mike G was high on her, and I was too. Last year, you make the NCAA tournament, you bring back your leading scorer, you bring in some of the top players in college basketball last year, and you have a losing record right now, and you're one of the bottom half of the SEC. I can't put my finger on it, why they continue to struggle, and I know they've had a few injuries here or there, but that's no excuse to be going and giving up 55 points to a freshman that's pretty good at Vanderbilt, but I wouldn't say one of the top freshmen in all of college basketball. This has been a rough one, and it makes me think, how long and are they going to give her this contract extension? Because remember, her contract's up at the end of the year, D. So this has not been a good year. We'll see what Auburn is going to do, but I commend the Vanderbilt freshmen, but man, it's been tough for the Auburn because I expected big things from them.
Well, to the coach's credit over at Auburn, I what we know from talking to Mike G, we it just wasn't adding up. I mean, her salary and her NIL budgets, they just didn't match up. And again, you can't expect somebody to perform at a high level when you're not able to, balance it out with the right resources, then at least equal amount of resources. And again, that's a terrible thing. But, again, that's what, these guys signed up for. These coaches know, they have, different situations going in on the front side. That's why negotiating with their agents and asking for certain things and getting the athletic directors want to know what your plan is.
Yeah.
Then as a coach, as you being interviewed, guys, I think you should also want to know what's the plan, your plan. You want to give them your plan as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, I get it. Sometimes you don't know if you want to invest a ton in a coach unless they prove themselves. But with her making the NCAA tournament last year, I felt like that was I'm proving here. Now, give me the resources, because you see what I can do with a decent amount of talent. Think what I can do with the talent like the South Carolinas, the Texases, the Kentuckys, all those have. And they didn't do that last year. So I'm with you, DJ. I am a little bit disappointed in the school in that aspect. But then again, I did think this year she had enough talent to be at least top 5, top 4 in the SEC, and just been one of those years where they just can't get it right.
Rich, I know one thing is for sure. 55 points is a lot of points. I don't care who is in it. But Michaela Blake's the freshman from Vanderbilt who was able to hit those points, man. That's a lot of buckets. I got to keep my eyes on her. I mean, she definitely put the world on notice, because, but prior to that, nobody, I didn't know who Michaela Blake's was.
Not me either.
Yeah, and the fact that she's only a freshman, I mean, we're going to end up seeing possibly the next phenom star to come out of college basketball. Vanderbilt's having a good season so far, 19-7. But you talk about, Michaela Blakes is going to be in the spotlight as soon as Vandy starts playing at Texas and LSU and South Carolina. She's going to get more exposure on national TV, and we'll see what Michaela Blakes is all about.
Guys, I guess I want to just jump right into it. The NBA All-Star Weekend out in San Francisco was, I thought it was a success, considering all of the adjustments, all of the things that they had to do differently, even the format change in the games, and of course with all the the tournament type format. First and foremost, again, starting with the dunk contest and in the futures game and all of that stuff, man. Again, what did you what stands out most to you out of all the things that happened over the weekend? And even Mac winning for the third time.
Probably Mac, to be frank with you, because the guy, for one, does the dunks in one try, and this is 3 consecutive years. Mm-hmm. The creativity in every single one of those dunks. I'm gonna be frank with you. He may be the greatest dunk contest participant that's ever done it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going back, even the years, Nate Robinson's won 3. But he wasn't near as creative. He would bring in the props and stuff. But I'm talking about actually finishing and the dunk itself. No one's done it better than Mac McClung. He saved the dunk contest and being relevant. The overall format, I didn't have a problem with it. I did enjoy watching the rookies go against the OGs because they were going hard, and the game went down to the wire just like I expected it to. But what happened is, this being TNT's final All-Star game, they made this way too long, to be honest with you. That long lull in between the championship game, you saw the players. By the time they came back out after they did that appreciation for Ernie, Chuck, Kenny, and Shaq, the guys were not playing any defense. They were ready to go. I mean, heck, it was 11 o'clock at night. It had been a long day. They were just ready to get done with it. I wish they would have just got that part through, because I think they were playing some competitive basketball. But the format was better than watching last year's 205 to 206 basketball game, and I enjoyed Matt McClung. What about you, Rich?
Well, I enjoyed the fact that these games were a lot shorter. You played a 40. You had 3 games on Sunday. We had a little controversy with the skills challenge with Wemby and Chris Paul trying to find a loophole to try to win.
Yeah, what was that all about?
So they got disqualified because they were trying to go for time and not go for shots. They were just throwing the ball in, to get to that point where they can beat the time, and they ended up getting disqualified. The 3-point shootout was,
of course, Chris Paul would find the loophole.
He found a loophole,
and instead of letting him win because he found the loophole, they said, "Man, you're disqualified."
Yeah. And then the 3-point shootout was great. Buddy Hield. It was awesome. I like Mac McClung and his dunks, very creative. I think that Mac McClung, they actually said that Mac McClung has made more money in the dunk contest the last 3 years than he's done in the NBA, because he hasn't really played a whole lot of NBA games. He is a G League player, / NBA player. He's got a G League contract, and he comes to the NBA. He's played maybe a couple of games this year. But yeah, the All-Star games, the format it's different, but it was better than last year having the 200 to 180 score they had, which I don't think anybody was a fan of. I was definitely not a fan of LeBron deciding at the last minute to sit out the All-Star game, because now you don't have a replacement. I don't know what was up with that, because I think that there was a deserving All-Star that got snubbed that could have taken his place.
Anthony Edwards decided not to play as well.
Exactly.
So that's 2 guys. But again, you know what? Do you think that he really waited to the last minute, or did you think that that's? I mean, because again, the LeBron he wakes up in the morning and maybe something's hurting that's didn't hurt before he went to bed. I don't know.
And then think about it too, in the All-Star game, because of the lull. Think about that if, let's say, he was injured and then he had to sit for 30, 45 minutes during those breaks, then come back and get back. That's not how his body works at 40 years old. And he's like, you know what? Instead of going out here and having to do this to myself, I'm not even gonna get dressed out.
Let me just say this though, Mac McClung he's a rock star in my mind. I mean, this young man, again, regardless of whether he played in the G League or got runs in the NBA, the bottom line is this young man has made a name for himself. He's He's a rock star, man. I tell you what, Thrift, I'm sure you wouldn't have a problem being, recognized, because this kid is recognized on the street. He's signing autographs. He's, he's getting endorsement opportunities. It's amazing what he's able to do. I would love to know. First of all, do we know how tall he is officially?
I think he's 5'10",
5'10",
5'9", around then.
What is his vertical? Well, I mean,
his vertical is crazy, and I remember seeing it. When he was in high school, DJ, he was a phenomenon then because of what he was doing and being short and dunking it. But I'm going to actually look that up, DJ, and see how tall he is.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, this guy, he jumped over a car. And again, the elevation. And again,
6'2".
Yeah, but that's same. I mean, it's not like he's 6'6", 6'8",
no.
6'9",
right.
Like everybody else. But, when you look at him and when they slow down those clips of him elevating, and he is just so powerful, he gets so high off the floor. His head looked like it's around the rim when he's just, and it's not just up and down. No. It's almost like he's hanging in the air.
It's unreal.
He defies gravity, man. It's amazing what he's able to do. And again, it was ingenious for, I don't know whether his agent, I don't know whether his coaches, I don't know whether it was the NBA that went and picked him out to come in and do what he's doing. But more than anything, I think he gives the ordinary guy imagination. He gives an ordinary guy hope, because he's not one of these flashy, multi-million-dollar guys that, the NBA obviously, hangs their hat on. He's a guy that just, hey, he's around the way. He's got some talent. He's in the system. He's in the G League. He's competing. He's still chasing his dream, very much like a minor league baseball player. But he has that, taken advantage of that weekend to capitalize on something that a gift that God gave him that he didn't give many.
Exactly. And I really and thoroughly enjoyed him when he did the dunk where he hit the rim in midair and then flushed it. You know how much concentration on high you have to be in the air to focus on hitting the thin rim and then dunking it? Well, I've seen a lot of people hit the backboard then dunk it. Backboard's huge, so you still got to get up in the air. But being able to do that while jumping over Evan Mobley, who's 6'11", come on, man, like that's nonsense is what we're seeing, and it's been incredible. I would have loved to see him and a Vince Carter, prime Vince Carter. That'd be a fun dunk contest.
Well, you mentioned Vince Carter, but Vince Carter has to be the best dunker of all time, because he did all of his spectacular dunks not only in the All-Star competition and exhibits, but he did them in games, in NBA games on NBA players, and dunking over 7-footers. So, that's a different deal. I do want to say this to you, Richard, with regards to Tyler Hero. Obviously, have you seen anybody to shoot the lights out as good as he?
Oh, he is just a phenomenal shooter. I'm just very impressed with how much Tyler Hero has just grown in the NBA game. Coming from Kentucky, there's a lot of unknowns, but getting big time minutes in playoff games and NBA finals, and the Miami Heat, he's the leading scorer right now for the Miami Heat. They don't have Jimmy Butler. They're on the brink of the play-in game, but Tyler Hero has come into his own, and he is just a phenomenal shooter.
Thrift, you're a shooter. What do you think about Tyler?
I love Tyler. He's got perfect form. The guy can definitely ball, and he is a good third, 3, maybe 2 on a team that could win a championship. I don't think he can be your best player and you win a championship, but I think he could be a good all-star that you're going to need, that can come in and give you 25, 30 every single night, because he can fill it up.
Man, I was excited when the guy, they took one of the guys out of the audience, one of the fans, and he hit a half-court shot, won $100,000. And
there you go.
Game time, Damian was out, shooting, and I think if Dame would have hit, if Dame would have won, he would have given $100,000, a grand away to some charity. But this guy who won, this guy, I guess they picked him randomly out of the stand or out of a drawing, but he won the cash. He won $100,000 for himself.
Yeah. And that's incredible, man. And usually you don't see that. It's very rare do you see them hitting those half-court shots, which is why it's pretty unique. And
Goofy looking dude too. He didn't look like he could
definitely
walk
didn't think he was going to be able to hit that. I thought he was going to want to be one of those air ball attempts, and he actually hit it. So good for him, and great job getting $100,000.
Absolutely. And again, when we talk about format change, and for those folks who were not familiar with the NBA All-Star game or who didn't stay up, I didn't stay up nearly as late. I saw first couple of rounds, but when you talk about dividing the team up to 4 different teams, they had a young team, a futures team, and they had the OGs and a team from an international team that that Barkley coached. I mean, I like the flavor. I mean, I like it better than they did last year, at least. And but the bottom line was Shaq's OGs. They won out again. Steph Curry won the Kobe Bryant MVP award, and it was different because they were going to 40. Some people say that those individual games should be going to 50, but there are always going to be things people going to say. Naysayers going to say something, but you know what? Again, it held my attention more so than I guess that it has in the last 3-4 years.
Exactly. And that was the whole point of it, was to be competitive and to have something fun to watch. You did see they were D'ing up. They were playing some defense.
Yeah.
Again, at the end, you didn't see much of it because it had been a long night and they had that long pause and guys were not fresh. And thinking about that, they're getting kind of stiff. They don't want to pull a hammy in an all-star game. But everything leading up to it, I thought it was a great job. And it was a great way to put a bow on TNT's coverage of the all-star game.
706-324-1420 is the number to call. If maybe you got something that you want us to know about, or something that intrigued you in the All-Star game, or perhaps there's you've got a team that you want to looking forward to that's going to be competing for a state championship. We do know, guys, that the Carver High Tigers basketball team, they're going to host the next few rounds up to Carver, all the way up until they get to the Final Four. And how much of a home advantage is that?
Yeah, it's going to be huge. They're the number one overall seed. They're the favorite to win it all. And I don't honestly think when they're playing their A game, DJ, Givens and Tolbert are grown men down there. It's 6'6", 6'7". I just don't see anyone having that type of size with the ability to throw a Castlin at you and a Montgomery and all the other players. I didn't even mention Truesdell and Woodson who come off the bench. Like, this is the deepest team in the state, and I think they're going to run away with it, to be frank with you. And by the way, I did want to mention in the bracket, though, there is a potential Spencer Carver Elite 8, because Spencer is the number 8 seed. So if Spencer can win at home against Terrell and then probably at home either against Shaw or Crisp County, they will take on Carver in the Elite 8. That could be wow.
Yeah. In addition to Carver, Richard, why don't you let everybody know who are some of the other teams that from the local area that made it to the playoffs?
Well, in this region alone, we've got 5 teams that made the playoffs. It's Carver, Spencer, Sumter County, Shaw, and Kendrick. So
how about the Cherokees?
How about that? Andre Dye
making the playoffs for the first time since 2019. I think they got in because of their power ranking. They had a winning record. They actually finished 6th in the region. They almost beat Sumter County in the region tournament, but they have 5 teams in this region. And over on the girls' side, we have Hardaway, Spencer, Sumter County, and I want to say, that's about it. As hard as Carver, Hardaway, Carver, Sumter County, and Spencer were the 4 teams that made the playoffs. And there were some teams on the outskirts that were. I think they were ranked high enough to get into the playoffs, but the way they do the playoffs is if you're 4th in the region, you make the playoffs regardless.
Yeah, but then how did Kendrick make it? I hear people saying that. I don't think they know what they're talking about in that respect.
So if you're in a region that has private schools, they take the private schools out because they have a separate bracket. So that's how Kendrick was able to get an at-large bid, because they replaced one of those private schools.
Well, that at-large bid could have been given to Columbus or Shaw that we were talking about. Richard got upset, and so did I, that Columbus had a great record this year, did not make the playoffs, but a team that went 4-24 made it. Columbus won 7 more games in a tough region, did not. And everybody was saying that, well, they took the top 4 teams from each region and then they reseeded them and put them in a power rankings. That's absolutely false, because we just said Kendrick was a 6th seed. They didn't even finish 6th in the region tournament, and yet they in the playoffs. So why wouldn't Columbus High make it? But then again, you can nitpick when especially when you're talking about the bottom half of leagues. But I just wish Columbus would have got in.
Yeah.
Guys, as you talk about the teams that made it to, of course, the tournament and that they got in here for into the state playoffs, is there anybody that would have a shot, or anything that you thought, because you guys have been boots on the ground, you called a lot of games, you've seen a lot of athletes on these teams. Is there anybody that's a dark horse out there that you think you might come up and make some noise?
I think Shaw could upset Crisp County.
Boys or girls?
For the Shaw boys, the way they beat Sumter County and they just continue getting better, I see an upset brewing against Crisp County. We could see a second round matchup between Shaw and Spencer.
which would be incredible. And I promise you, we're going to try to get some of those later round playoff games if we can. For on the girls' side, I think Carver. I think if they can beat Carver Atlanta is who they play in the first round. I think Carver Columbus, who's playing really good basketball on Coach Hunley, they're always a team that can make a deep run and surprise some people. But obviously the favorites of and Central, by the way, boys and girls, they're in the Elite Eight right now, and they take on Auburn. Central boys have not lost Auburn this year. They're 3-0. Central girls have not beat Auburn girls. They're 0-3. Maybe something's going to give. We're going to be cheering for both of those teams, and they're the only team still alive in Alabama.
Were those games competitive, Auburn and Central, both boys and girls?
Hey, for the boys, they were. For the girls, they were at Central. The ones at Auburn ended up winning by 10 points. But I think, anytime you got Jabria Lindsay, DJ, I mean, you got a player of that caliber. She can take over a game in a heartbeat. Would not be shocked if there's an upset.
Before we go to our next break, I want to make sure that you know that on Thursday, March the 20th, the third annual San Mark Foundation Bi-City Basketball Awards. And, of course, that will be the top basketball players, boys and girls in the city. They will be getting honored by the San Mark Foundation. Mark Upshaw and Sam Mitchell has started this foundation 20 years ago, but they started, of course, sponsoring in this particular award ceremony for the basketball players 3 years ago. And we're looking forward to it. Presented by Sportsvisions Morning Show. So we're going to go ahead and take a break. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sportsvisions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Shorty, she was crazy, right? And I approached baby like, Mom, what's your age and type? She looked at me and said, you's a baby, right? I told her I'm 18 and live a crazy life.
This is the Sportsvisions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sportsvisions 92.1. The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results do not guarantee future results in each case.
I can't believe everybody. They just gonna leave me for dead. Like I'm never gonna recover.
Yo,
like I'll never be back on my feet. When I get this money, y'all better have the same energy. Don't come asking me for nothing. And I'm about to get a lot. Top dollar, a lot. Only person ain't leave me was my dog. That was Top Dog. The way he bit that insurance company, getting me a lot of money. Now everybody wanna come back around. They know that check about to hit. They know the money coming. Top dollar, that check about to hit. Nah, bro, stay over there. Chose your side, stay over there. Told you my election was getting cut off. What you say? I ain't got it. But you out in the club popping bottles. It's cool, stay over there. Top Dog Law.
It's time to maximize your savings with a Ford Truck Month sales event at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Whether you're conquering tough jobs every day of the week or heading off-road on your next great adventure, score great offers now on built tough trucks. Like an all-new 2024 Ford F-150 with available 3.9% APR financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers, plus $3,350 in total incentives, with available best-in-class 13,500 pounds maximum towing, Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving, and seating for up to 6. Tough this smart can only be called an F-150. Get ready to unlock the power of the Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck for more than 4 decades. Take advantage of this offer and more during Ford Truck Month at Rivertown Ford, in person or online at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. Offer expires March 3rd, 2025. See dealer for complete details.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
I love playing sports, especially for my school. And that's because school sports are special. It's where it's safe to fail. It's where we're taught resilience, where our fear becomes confidence. It's where we learn to get back up after every fall. School sports are where 7.8 million students go from I can't to I can.
This message presented by the AHSAA and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
High, you feel different. But if you feel different, you drive different. So don't drive high. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sportsvisions 92.1. Now back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sportsvisions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge. And, of course, we were talking college basketball prior to going to the break. Talked high school basketball, but in continuation to talking college basketball, I know, Thrift, that over the weekend, the Georgia Bulldogs men's basketball team lost their third straight game to Missouri, 87-74. And I know that Mike White, I'm not saying that he's wearing out his welcome, but I mean, it's, starting out like gangbusters and having the promise, cracking the top 25 AP poll, and again, having so much promise, even being mentioned as a possible, to fit into, again, one of the 13 teams that were speculated to make it to the big dance. Things are not going so well.
No, it's not. And I don't know what do you do, DJ, at this point? If you're Georgia, this is coach number 3. And it's just not working. You're putting resources, the culture's being built, and you're not going. It's looking like you're right there on the bubble. I don't know if they make the NCAA tournament. They needed to win this game against Missouri to be put in. How do you feel like you can fix this problem?
I don't think that you start over again. I mean, I do think that Mike White needs to be brought in and sat down, and again, we need to just not shake him a little bit, but you gotta let him know that, hey man, we believe in you. We're giving you the resources. We're going to give you more, and we just expect more. I really don't think that getting rid of him and moving on to another person to start all over again is good for anybody. It's not good for the team, and it definitely is not good for recruiting.
Well, they could definitely recruit. They've gotten Anthony Edwards there. They've gotten Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Ozzie Newell is a projected lottery pick.
You named 3 5-stars in the last 12 years. I mean, you're right. They can, but they can do a lot
right now.
Yeah, what you can do it better. They got to get a lot better, and it's not just the 5-stars. It's the transfer portal, and it's honestly NIL. I mean, Auburn has a huge NIL. They pay their guys. Janai Broome felt like he was going to make more money this year as a fifth-year senior than he would have in the NBA. That is a huge reason why he's coming back. So if you can keep Asa Newell and you can keep the talent you got, add some transfers. Yeah, I think eventually Georgia's can be right there. But I'm with DJ. You fire him, you going to have to restart again, and then you're seeing how good the league is. You're going to get further back from those top teams. There's a big gap between Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia right now. You don't want to widen that gap either.
Well, again, based on and again, the pressure is such that because of Alabama's dominance and Auburn's dominance, Georgia, they figure, Josh, the athletic director up in Athens, and all the Bulldog fans and alumni, they think that they should be, and we should be, able to compete as well. As seeing obviously what has happened with those two schools. And again, I'm just saying, for them to think about where Auburn is right now and Alabama's programs versus where Georgia is right now, it causes you to scratch your head, and it causes you to, the feared out.
Yeah, and a lot of those talented players came from the Atlanta area that Georgia is an hour from, hour and a half. There's no excuse for it. And to be honest with you, before Nate Oates took over this Alabama program, historically, Georgia's always been better than Alabama has. Yeah. But it's now Nate is taking Alabama to heights and the consistency of how good they've been for how long they've been these last 5 years. I don't think Georgia's ever had a run like this before. Same with Auburn. They never had a run like what Bruce Pearl's put them on before. When is that Georgia run going to come? And you can't tell me it can't happen because nobody in their wildest dream thought Auburn, Alabama would even come close to these heights. You tell me Georgia can't do it either. No, I'm not hearing that. That's an excuse.
Tell you what, moving over to the girls' side or the women's side of things, obviously the South Carolina Lady Gamecocks got beat. Of course, they had their home winning streak of over 70 some odd games, man, was snapped by UConn. And again, Gino Oriema.
Yeah.
I butcher his name all the time.
Yeah.
But you know what? Dawn Staley is at the top of the game. She's overtaken in my mind Ariama with regards to pay anyway.
Yeah.
But his greatness is still there. But again, losing to Ariama and UConn over the weekend, it was not the worst thing because again, you're losing to a program that's recognized nationally and has been for quite some time.
Yeah, historically the greatest women's college basketball of all time with Gino Oriema and their winning streaks and all the players that he's put in the WNBA. Paige Beckers is going to be another superstar that's going to go to the WNBA. But I do think that UConn made a statement over the weekend to let everybody know that you haven't forgotten about us. We're still elite. We're still going to be competing for championships. With the NIL and the transfer portal, I don't think we're going to see the 4 straight years with Breonna Stewart winning titles and then having that incredible win streak. But still, UConn, a Final Four championship team, and they got a big win over the weekend over South Carolina.
And by the way, Corey Black said, don't fire him. Use that money for NIL. NIL, NIL, NIL. I agree with you, Coach Black.
Absolutely. And, of course, what we want to say is that, again, we are opening the phone lines up to you this morning early here before we get to those interviews. But just so you know, coming up at 7:30, Tony Montgomery, the all-star shooting guard from Carver Tigers, will be with us at 8 o'clock. Brian Thomas, one of the bright young star coaches in the area, will be with us. And, of course, Larry Knox and AD over at Russell County, and they are doing big things. Looking forward to talking to all 3 of those people. Coming up next on the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Palm trees, beach views, ordinary day. All I wanna hear is in that vision's no replay. Sit right next to you. I try not to show how I feel.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander Shahara trial attorneys. Paid active dramatization. Past results and not guaranteed future results in each case.
I can't believe everybody. They just gonna leave me for dead. Like I'm never gonna recover. Like I'll never be back on my feet. When I get this money, y'all better have the same energy. Don't come asking me for nothing. And I'm about to get a lot. Top dollar, a lot. Only person ain't leave me was my dog. That was Top Dog. The way he bit that insurance company, getting me a lot of money. Now everybody wanna come back around. They know that check about to hit. They know the money coming. Top dollar. That check about to hit. Nah, bro, stay over there. Chose your side, stay over there. Told you my election was getting cut off. What you say? I ain't got it. But you out in the club popping bottles. It's cool. Stay over there. Top dog law.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. That's 800-934-3021.
It's time to maximize your savings with a Ford Truck Month sales event at Rivertown Ford in Columbus. Whether you're conquering tough jobs every day of the week or heading off-road on your next great adventure, score great offers now on built tough trucks. Like an all-new 2024 Ford F-150 with available 3.9% APR financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers, plus $3,350 in total incentives with available best-in-class 13,500 pounds maximum towing, Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving, and seating for up to 6. Tough this smart can only be called an F-150. Get ready to unlock the power of the Ford F-150, America's best-selling truck for more than 4 decades. Take advantage of this offer and more during Ford Truck Month at Rivertown Ford, in person or online at rivertownford.com. And remember, you'll never pay retail at Rivertown Ford. Offer expires March 3rd, 2025. See dealer for complete details.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. The Herd with Colin Cowherd. 12 to 3 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Carver Tigers legend DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge in the building. Big shout out to all of our guests coming up here. Guys, I want to just go categorically through these guys, through these guests that we're going to have on the show because, in their own right, they are very, very special. And, they're just, I start with Larry Knox, who's going to be with us at 8:30, but he's the athletic director, Richard. And I know you have spent a lot of time in that program. You got to be excited for that community. You got to be excited that they are just, picking themselves up by the bootstraps and they're not worrying about what they don't have. But, somehow, some way, they are making that athletic program better.
Oh, absolutely. As the AD Knox has been there for a couple of years now, and we have seen the improvement of all the athletic programs at Russell County, whether it's the football team making a deep run in the playoffs for the first time since 1998, the basketball team under Coach Battle and making it to the second round of the playoffs last year, the baseball team with Coach Danielson trying to get back to the glory days of Russell County when they won a state championship back in 2005. And I think that Russell County is the way from the city. It is in Seal, Alabama, but a lot of people in Russell County is a pretty big county. The outskirts of Phoenix City and Ladonia. That there's a lot of talent there. There's passionate fan base there. There's people that truly care about Russell County, and Coach Knox has done just a phenomenal job of getting Russell County athletics back to as far as being prominent and also upgrading the facilities. And the fans are just excited about all the athletics there.
One thing that I want Coach Knox to talk about and to share with everybody that I don't think that everybody quite knows is that his background in coaching. I mean, he was the head coach of the freshman team, I believe it was at Central, and had some impeccable record. I mean, they've gone 30, 40 years or something like that without a losing season. I mean, are you familiar with that?
Yes, he's truly had so much success at Central. And it's carried over to Russell County. Now, he came on in 2022. He didn't hire Coach Griggs. Coach Griggs was the coach in 2021. But I think that they had a very good relationship. And when Coach Griggs just building his staff, you've seen what Justin Albert has done. Now he's the head coach at Smith Station. Kendall Lacey, his defensive coordinator, is now a coach somewhere. But he has a very good relationship with the coaches. Katie Webb, who's a big-time softball player at Troy, is the softball coach. And of course, Danny Danielson was in the minor league organization with the Dodgers. And then we all know about Michael Long Jr. He's now an assistant at Russell County for baseball. And I'm just really excited, not only about the baseball season coming up, but really the future of Russell County sports. I mean, that they should be competitive just about every time. And he's done just a great job, just not only mentoring those coaches, but also just overseeing all the athletics to make sure that they have all the tools and resources for success.
Well, we're looking forward to talking to Larry Knox. So you go ahead. If you make a note, go 8:30. We're going to have him with us as well. But Thrift, when you talk about Bryant Thomas, man, we're talking about a young man that actually cut his teeth playing ball in this area, played for Columbus State, was a damn good basketball player. But what he's done, and again, the great thing about this platform, a great thing about the Sports Visions morning show is that we're going to give the community an opportunity to go into the life and understand why Bryant Thomas is so successful at what he does, as a coach. And again, he, of course, is the right-hand man to Corey Black with CB Hoops and all the events that they do. They've been together for a long, long time. More specifically, the program that they have where they do the, no shot, no jump shots, no something that
no work shot, no jump shot.
I mean, that's great. Several years back, I had an opportunity to participate in as a speaker to one of those programs. But I mean, that's just one of several that he and Coach Black have an opportunity to. But Bryant Thomas, the young man, he is a quiet leader, but he gets it done.
He does get it done. Perfect practice and CB Hoops. He trained a lot of people, man. He trained a lot of the coaches that are in the league, like Jonathan Gordon, Calvin Thomas. He was a longtime coach in the AAU circuit. Also, didn't know this. I knew about the training and everything else. That's who I thought Bryant Thomas was perfect practice, Corey Black, exposure camps, getting guys to the next level. My man Bryant could ball. He was actually a starting point guard for Columbus State University back in the day. It played for Coach Branson and played for Corey when Corey was an assistant there. Bryant is just an overall great dude. And the fact that his team, who is a team that has defending champion, have not lost a GIAA, which is the league they're in. They have not lost a GIAA game in 2 years, 27-game winning streak. They are coming out in the standings third. Can't understand it. Can't wrap my mind around it. They are 20 and 4, DJ. They have not lost to anybody in the GIAA since 2023. How in the heck? And they're the defending champion. How they are not at least 2 or number 1 anywhere else. You put up that type of record, you are going to be number 1 going into it. That's motivation for his team. Look forward to asking him what are they ready for this upcoming playoffs.
Another intriguing thing that I find with Coach, when you talk about Coach Thomas, his wife is on the bench with him. She's an assistant coach. I mean, again, that's a conversation within itself. Because again, obviously, we know how important our wives are in our household. But again, to be on the bench with you, that's some added stuff there, man. I mean, that's special.
It is. And she was a player herself. By the way, the daughter also, Kinsley, who can ball. She's 5th grade. She is the team manager. So it's a family affair. He gets to be with his family while doing the thing he loves. Because you know how much time and effort it takes to be a coach. So having her on the sideline, and he's got a team that hopefully can go back to back. He's done a great job these last 3 years.
Well, this is what I want you two both to chime in on, because you guys know this young man pretty well. And Tony Montgomery, the all-star guard over at Carver High School, who signed with Troy, is leading his team in the state playoffs, has had a phenomenal year. He has some great weapons around him. I don't know if he's had as much firepower around him or with regards to the big guys that you say down low. Over at Spencer as a freshman, I think he might have had some very similar type weapons as a freshman point guard, and of course leading that team to a state championship several years back. But the Tony Montgomery coming up at 7:30. He's a young man, more mature beyond his years, and we've seen him grow right before our eyes.
Exactly, and now he is trying to do something that I don't know if anyone's ever done. He's trying to be a state champion at 2 different high schools, and then he also has got Eric Allen, his coach, who was a coach at Spencer. But that Spencer team was loaded with Moody. And then a couple other of the key players like Tyson McDaniels. I mean, they had a lot of talent on that team. Gary Gaither could shoot threes. But this Carver team, though, the size, everything else, but he knows how to play with talent. That was the point I know you were trying to make, DJ. He knows how to play with guys. He knows how to play his role. And then the scoring is just come at an ease. And whenever they need a bucket, they know they can always call on Tony. But the fact is, they really can do that with Castlin, Woodson. They got guys that just at the end of the shot clock, offense is not working. They can just go one-on-one. But obviously, the head of the totem pole is in all things Carver is Tony Montgomery. And you're right, DJ. He's a great guy. Great interview with Richard right after the game. And looking forward to seeing what happens his senior year in the playoffs.
Richard, what's most intriguing as you watch this young man and you call several of his games? What impresses you about him?
Well, because he's ready for the next level. He is a facilitator, but he could score. He does all the little things to get his teammates involved, and he's also a leader on the court. And that's why Troy offered him a scholarship. He's going to do great things at Troy, and I think that we're talking about an impact player that has really been, in the spotlight for the last 4 years. He averages 20 points a game this year. Last year, he averaged a little over 20 points a game. And every year, he continues to improve and develop his game. And it started when he was a freshman at Spencer, winning that state championship, and then getting Spencer's the Elite Eight, and then transferring over to Carver. And Carver goes to the Final Four last year. They didn't even win the region. And so they were able to win all their games on the road last year. That's what's impressive. And this Carver team winning the region championship, first time since 2019. And they're the overall number 1 seed. And I think that Tony Montgomery is that leader that's going to get the Carver Tigers, especially with all the talent around them, to the mountaintop.
A couple of takeaways that I watch as I've seen the Carver Tigers play, and I've watched the development of Tony Montgomery. But one, common denominator that we obviously, taking, well, we don't take it for granted. We know what it is. Eric Allen, the coach of him, if you made mention to him, of course, being the coach at Spencer when they won the title. And of course, right now, this run, Eric Allen is at Carver. The same. And I think, he's able to motivate Tony and Tony is able to trust him in a way that, championship coaches and championship players, that's the relationship that they have. But what's impressive about this young man as a player to me is that his unselfishness, his maturity to understand that, like you said, he can get it done, but he has other weapons and he gets them involved as well. Because I've seen several games, and I don't know if Tony had double figures but they were very, very comfortably out front and winning. And he doesn't. You don't see any emotions. It's almost like winning is the thing. And he's bought in, and he's been around long enough, and he understands. I guarantee you that state championship pedigree that he had as a freshman, he wants that back because it's been so hard to grab. The last couple of years, but he is playing on a level now that you can tell that he's a grown man playing amongst kids.
Yeah, exactly. And he knows how to make sure everyone feels involved. But DJ, you saw something in him too. You helped orchestrate that we had Mark Upshot on last week when he was able to go up there, spend time with him. You told Mark about, because Mark's not here. We're the boots on the ground for Mark and Sam for the Sam Mark Foundation.
Sure. Yeah.
So we tell him who some of the top players are. And I honestly think that has also been a big key in the progression and the maturity that we've seen from Tony from when he was a freshman, very talented, but, a little rough around the edges, to now being someone that we hope can do great things at Troy. It's something you saw from the very beginning.
Absolutely. And also, I have to mention his mom and the support that his family gives him. I mean, that means a lot to you. And all of us, Thrift, you played as well. It's something about looking up in the stands and seeing your mom, your dad, your 100%. Grandma, your brothers, your sisters, and he has that family support.
Exactly. And Miss Letitia Hill, who was a great basketball player in her own right, played at Shaw. Now seeing her son try to win another state championship, and if he's able to do this, he's going to go down as one of the most decorated. I'm not going to say best, because that's going to start an uproar, but one of the most decorated, because you can't tell me he's an all-state player, 2 state championships. Not a lot of people that can say that, DJ.
Not at all. But if you want to hear Tony Montgomery, you want us to introduce you to him, you definitely tune in and make sure you tell folks he'll be coming up in about 15 minutes or so. 7:30 is what we have on the dial book for him to come on. And as I mentioned, Brian Thomas will be on at 8 o'clock, and Coach Larry Knox will be on at 8:30. Richard, when we come back, I gotta pick your brain, man, because obviously, you are full of knowledge, and I just know that those folks out there want to hear more about some of the things that are happening with baseball and basketball as the season starts to, of course, come to a close in postseason. All right, you're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 92.1. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
Police have charged Travis Rivers with murder after two people were found shot inside a burned house in Troup County. Jabrica Williams and Roderick Kennedy were discovered dead on February 8th. Rivers was already in jail on unrelated charges and now faces multiple felony counts. Stay with News 3 both on air and online for updates on this case. A North Columbus family narrowly escaped disaster after strong storms uprooted trees that crashed into their home. Evan Thormer says emergency sirens alerted them just in time to get to safety. Despite severe damage, everyone made it out unharmed.
We hadn't gotten those warnings. There's a very good likelihood that we'd be worried about more than just a house.
Republican Dale Washburn of Macon introduced House Bill 225, which intends to ban school zone speed cameras and repeal House Bill 978 that passed in 2018, which allowed for the use of the cameras. Washburn believes these cameras in school zones do not make this area any safer. Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson says since the implementation of the cameras, there have not been any encounters between children and vehicles. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are starting off the day a lot quieter as those temperatures continue to fall closer to freezing by daybreak. Midday readings will be climbing into the mid 40s under plenty of sunshine, and it's going to be cooler this afternoon under those clear sky conditions, but those highs do reach the low 50s. Cold tonight with patchy frost likely, lows dropping to near freezing, and tomorrow we'll be watching clouds increase with those temperatures closer to 60.
Corey's Furniture Express, your express way to saving.
It's February and it's the month of love. And what could be better than a brand new sofa, a new recliner, or a new love seat, all from Corey's Furniture. And Corey's Furniture would love to make it better with free delivery on a purchase of $1,000 or more. And that's for the entire month of February. And that's only at Corey's Furniture, Alabama Highway 169 in Opelika.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services. Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases. Catch the Paul Feinbaum Show, 3 to 7 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's three-time Georgia Bulldog SEC champion and 1980 national champion, DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge in the building. Hey, 706-324-1420 is the number to call if you want to jump on, engage, if you want to get it going on. Hey, also, we appreciate you, of course, checking in on the chat with us on Facebook. We're Facebook Live. Go to our Facebook page, and we have an opportunity there to give you a platform, to maybe give some information. Hey, just say good morning. But it's President's Day. Richard, you got the day off, man, and I know that you're doing what you love but more importantly, can you kind of paint a picture for the folks out there that are enjoying this day as it pertains to, of course, being President's Day, and of course what people are doing at Fort Moore and the whole gambit with regards to this national holiday?
Well, with it being a federal holiday, all the workers at Fort Moore, they do have the day off. It's just a day just to enjoy spending time with the family. The kids are out of school. In fact, my kids are going to be out of school for the next 2 days because they actually didn't get Friday off. And so we're going to have an opportunity just to enjoy some quality time together. But we do have a baseball game that we are covering on Georgia Alabama Sports Live later this afternoon. I'm excited about that. And really, just not having to come into work has kind of given me an opportunity to regroup, kind of reset.
Yeah.
And, get all the stuff around the house done and try to make sure to get prepared for the week.
I want to take people behind the ropes, behind backstage with you, behind the curtains with you, Richard, because obviously they hear this, everything all buttoned up when, they hear you on these game broadcasts. But, let's just talk about what you do to prepare for these games, because again, a lot of people don't have any idea. They said that, they hear that voice, they know it's professional. This guy knows his stuff. But again, as you and your love for sports, your love for broadcasting, talk to me a little bit about some of the things that you go through, some of the preparation you have when you're getting ready to do this.
Well, many people that know me know that I've lived in Columbus for 10 years now. I'm a sports historian. I love painting the picture of telling a story. And what better way than when you go and do your research about these teams, going back into the history vault, like when I was calling the Columbus Northside game on Saturday. I had to mention the legendary Bobby Howard, mentioned Gary Ingram because he had his Hall of Fame speech earlier. Frank Thomas talking about the 12 championships. There's a lot of history there. Northside's got some history themselves. They've got the championship from 2019. And, we talk about like these baseball teams. We know about the history with Shaw and Pacelli, and that's coming up this afternoon. And what I like to do is I'm a stats guy as well. I make sure that when I do my research, that I get the stats. You can't always rely on Max Prep. Sometimes you got to get the stats from the coaches. I know that Dave Platt is the same way. He was sending me graphics yesterday. I'm excited to actually help produce and produce this game for Dave Platt is going to be on the call for Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So we're going to get to see Dave Platt do play-by-play for baseball. I know he does a great job doing play-by-play for football. I'm excited about it.
How much does he pay you to be his agent? He's getting a lot of publicity, but hey, shout out,
sure
love you,
has,
Dave.
yeah.
Shout out, Dave.
Can't wait to hear Dave say just a bit outside.
Just a bit outside.
That's a look at sports.
That's the first inning. We'll be right back after this.
Thrift, again, I want to ask you that same question because, again, people see you grinding. They see you everywhere and bouncing around. And, of course, who's that guy with that long hair? But then, they go and look at Georgia Alabama Sports Live. They see the face and they know the voice. And if they hear you talking, but with you and your love for sports, your love for the game, your love for broadcasting.
Yeah, well, for one, it's just something that it came from my granddad. He's a historian, the love and explaining all his coaching and all the players, how it was here back 30, 40 years ago, and then enjoying those stories, wanting to know more about the history of sports. It started at a young age, and then it, turned into like, man, people get paid to talk about this stuff too. Like I thoroughly have a passion for talking and watching sports. And I knew at 12 years old, I wanted to be involved in sports talk. So it's been a lot of fun here, D, and it's even better when you go to these high schools and we get plaques and notoriety. I don't do it for the pat on the back. I mean, it's nice to be like, hey, Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And, people do that. They don't even know your name. They know you're Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I was telling Natalie, it's like, they know me as either Sportsvisions or Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I know they don't know my name. They probably don't remember it. They probably know, but they just don't remember at the time, or it's hard for them to say. So they just say Sportsvisions, or because I saw someone yesterday saying, hey, you and DJ are doing a great job. Appreciate it. Still didn't say Thrift, but that stuff doesn't bother me, man. I thoroughly enjoy what we're doing. I live the brand of Sportsvision, Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and I'm excited and going and these players specifically, what it means to them for us to call their games. It's a lot of the reason why I do it, D, because I think how much I would have loved that. I know you would have too back in the day. Someone got to call your game, and then when you get home immediately after the game, you can rewatch it. I would have done that my whole career, man.
Absolutely, but that's what technology is today, and obviously it's going to be even better. Who would have thought 10 years ago that we'd be where we are, much less 30, 40 years ago back when I was playing that I'd be there. But this is another question that I have for both of you guys, and I know we're up against the clock. We got an interview coming up here pretty soon. But your families are a very integral part of your lives, and of course, Richard, you and your wife, and of course, both you and Natalie and all of your family, your mom, your granddad. But just talk about because again, you couldn't do this if you didn't have their support. Maybe you could, but you wouldn't feel good about it, or you wouldn't be as passionate about it if you knew that somebody that you care about is not absolutely 100% all in.
Oh, I truly have a great support system. My wife of 15 years, and then my two girls, both 11 and 8, and they're just at that age where they are getting involved playing sports, and they're getting classmates that are saying, "Hey, aren't you?"
Yeah,
they recognize the last name, and they're like, from Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I thought it was a big deal. Like the first time when I was on the radio exactly 5 years ago, and my 11-year-old was 6 at the time. And when she said, "Daddy, I heard you on the radio," that really did it for me.
Oh yeah,
that made me proud, and it made me motivated to actually make a name of myself, and that's why that's the family is there to get me motivated. I know I'd still be doing this if I didn't have a family, but I still am truly blessed that I have this family that has been my support system.
Yeah, exactly. I will tell you, I was motivated regardless of, I think this was going to happen with me, but I will tell you my maturity, my growth, the business acumen. I mean, I can't do any of it without Natalie Vega. There is no doubt in my mind. She pushed me to do Georgia Alabama Sports Live, all the finance and everything else. I'm one of those that I overthink, DJ. I come in here, I talk to you all the time about it too. I got to have my team, DJ, Natalie, and a few other people where I can just call and spit things off because I overthink, and it makes me think, am I doing this right? And I know it frustrates her to no end because she's like, why do you do this all the time? And I had so many questions. DJ says the same thing, but it is what it is. And I love her for it. And if not for her, again, I think she has just helped elevate and expedite the growth. I think I was going to get there eventually, but she has helped expedite, and I'm always appreciative of her and her support. Like on Valentine's Day when I'm having to call 5 games because everybody else won it off, and I understand on my team they want to celebrate with their loved ones. Me and Rich are the only ones that really can work, and she is understanding, and she didn't get mad. And as long as I put thought and effort into her, which I did, that's all she really asked. Just make sure I don't forget about her with everything we got going on. And I'm like, baby, you're always top priority, and then everything else.
You know what? I got time for another question for the both of you. Well, if you're going to talk to a young kid today that wants to be want a career in broadcasting or think that they want a career in broadcasting, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to be passionate about it, and don't get frustrated because you're not getting results. Because I've done a podcast for 5 years, and I'll be honest with you, it's not growing like I thought it was going to grow when I started it 5 years ago. But these young and energetic broadcasters that come up, you got to put in the work, and you got to do the little things. I started out as a statistician. Sometimes you're valuable just by showing up to a game and running the camera. I mean, that's really all what we ask. And then if you have talent, that talent will allow you. We have a platform where you can maybe have your own show. And I think that will eventually come. But these young broadcasters have got to stay patient.
Yeah, they do. And I that would be find a passion. And once you find that passion and find yourself, there'll be a median where you can hopefully find where that career you want it to be. And this is what my career, I always wanted it to be. I never gave up on my dream. But I guess the biggest thing nowadays, DJ, and we talk about it, I think religiously on this program, is I quit. It's too tough.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the opportunity I'm supposed to be getting. And that makes you walk away. My mindset has always been when I've always been second guessed, DJ. When I got to Glenwood, I remember people telling me that I was never going to start or play basketball. I remember my senior year, we had got transfers in, and people were like, Thrift, you're not even going to get no playing time. I only got playing time, was a leading scorer. I use that as motivation. Okay. And even if the coach worked against me or it was going to be tough or new players came in, you thought that was me to transfer, go to another school. No, that was motivation to prove like you're going to have to play me. That is not the mindset nowadays. And you need to have that mindset because it's tougher than ever, DJ. Now anybody can get a microphone and turn on and be famous nowadays. How are you going to stand out? Are you going to withstand the adversity? That's my biggest message is do not quit. Find that passion. And then if you do that, usually everything works out on its own.
Good stuff, guys. I know that that is a point well taken. We're going to go ahead and take a break. You are watching Facebook Live and you're listening to WOTC HD2 Sports Visions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Yeah. I've been down so long it look like up to me. They look up to me. I got fake people showing fake love to me, straight up to my face.
This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Let's do this.
Sports Visions 92.1.
Hey there, fellow travelers. It's me, the Hotel Whiz. Before you go anywhere, call me day or night for hotel rates too low to publish. I'll save you up to 75% on over 500,000 hotels across the globe. You see, I've already done the research, so you don't have to spend time online trying to find the best deal. That's up to 75% off. Just call me, the Hotel Whiz. It's a free call, and you get instant access to rates too low to publish with no cancellation fees.
Make a free call now and save up to 75% off your hotel rooms the next time you're going somewhere for business or pleasure. Call the Hotel Whiz now and get instant access to rates too low to publish.
800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. 800-710-3739. Call the Hotel Whiz right now at 800-710-3739.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
At Sun Chevrolet, you can ride in a new 2025 Chevrolet for less than $25,000. Pick a new Trailblazer, Trax, Equinox, or Malibu for less than $25,000. Why buy a used car when you can possibly buy a new 2025 Chevy for less? Financing a new vehicle can be easy. Come see us at Sun Chevrolet and give us a try. Now that's savings with Suns. Together, let's drive. Online at sunchevrolet.com.
How clean is the water you're drinking and bathing in? If you call Aquasana Water today, they'll provide you with a free assessment telling you the condition of your tap water. Aquasana sells whole house water filters starting at $1,000. Isn't that worth it to have a 10-year supply of filtered, cleaner water? Aquasana water filters tackle chlorine taste and odor and can reduce contaminants like viruses, lead, forever chemicals, and microplastics, depending on the system you purchased. So make the free call, find out the condition of your water, and make your water cleaner the Aquasana way. It's a smart decision for you and your family and a must for a healthy home. Get a whole house Aquasana water system starting at $1,000 for your entire home. Call and find out the condition of your water with a free water assessment. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. 800-934-3021. That's 800-934-3021.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist, clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and Richard Holdridge in the building. And you guys, so eloquently, before we went to the break, you guys were able to give some nice advice to the young people out there that wanted to be in the broadcasting. I think that you did. You guys both hit on some great points. You know, what I heard from both of you all is basically you got to be, passionate. And of course, you got to want to do this. You got to really, really want to do this. But what I want to add to it, and what, just from my few decades of being around in the media and in broadcasting,
right.
Money can't be your motivating factor. I mean, everybody's, looking for a money grab. They want to think that, okay, if I'm a big time broadcaster and on TV or radio, and I'm going to make a whole lot of money. Well, that could be true, but in most instances, and then this is pretty much anything, you got to be passionate about what you want to do. And if you're passionate, that means you're going to go the extra yard to do that. And of course, money is really, can't be a part of it. You got to keep digging, keep your head down, keep chopping. And again, if you are good at what you do, and if you're passionate, if it's meant to be, the money will follow you. And again, I hear Coach Prime talk about it all the time when he says, you got to be the best. You got to be the best. You got to be a dog. And that's what we have been all. That's the common denominator with all of us. Again, it goes back to 97 when I officially started my time in media and sports talk radio and all that good stuff. Is that I didn't worry about it. I mean, I was just enjoying being able to come on the air and to use my intellect, my skill, articulate the game and my opinions of the game. And that's what I loved about it. And then, of course, that led to other opportunities with WRBL as a sports director and all of that other stuff. And then, of course, a little bit later on in the game, I had an opportunity to call some games with the arena football team here, the War Dogs, and being with Jim Fife, one of the great all-time broadcasters, and being around those kinds of guys and seeing, how they went about their business. And, I've been in the booth with Bob Neal at the University of Georgia, having an opportunity there that was, of course, given to by the then athletic director, Damon Evans, back in 2010. But being a Swiss Army knife, pretty much like you, Richard, being able to do the television broadcast before ESPN. We did on WSB TV in Atlanta. We did the Georgia home games, and they played, a number of games prior to the ESPN broadcast came into fruition. But, being in the booth with Bob Neal and being around those professionals, Mike V, my guy that I did my first radio sports talk show with, he was a talented guy that I don't think he knew how talented he was. He realized it later because he left here and went to Montgomery, and from there, but those are things that, and money was not the option. It was not, especially, again, let me preface this with this market. This market is not what, a lot of other markets are with regards to pay. And that obviously being, regardless of whether you're in broadcasting, whether you're in insurance, whether you're in your corporate world, whatever, a coach, this is a different type of deal. And, but you certainly have to be passionate about what you do. And again, and you can't be all things to all people. You have to be you. And that's what I loved about creating my path and taking advantage of the opportunities as we go on. But again, the sports part of it, Thrift, for me, gave me a background, or gave me the backbone to all of the ups and downs, because you get a lot of them. You get a lot of them, and you call a game, it's a good game. Some games are not so good. You're around people that don't appreciate you. Sometimes they do. Most of the times they do. But what you're doing, and what you guys are doing right now, and what we're doing right now, is it's just awesome.
Yeah.
But somebody out there somewhere is bickering and murmuring about something. But again, you got to be able to overlook those naysayers and overlook that negativity, that toxic attitude, as I call it.
Yeah.
And just keep moving, because again, sports taught us this. These great coaches that were in my life, they gave me the understanding of, if you really, really want to do something, you just focus on your goals and you work hard and you keep your head down.
Yeah, exactly. And I know that's one thing that you press with me is just keep motivating, keep doing what you do, find yourself. And that's, again, for the young generation out there, I hope they do that. It's the thing is, now with media, again, you can be a podcaster right now if you want. And then I want to be honest with and upfront, but it's like, people are not going to school and learning how to be a proper broadcaster. They're not having to do and all the stuff you had to learn how to do when you were WRBL. Nowadays, DJ, you can literally get into it with no experience, not knowing anything. And heck, in my opinion, not even be good at it, but still can gain some traction. That's just how it is nowadays. Is it fair? No. Is it frustrating as someone that takes it as this is a professional setting? Yes, it can be very frustrating, but it's the way of the world. And if you're a young broadcaster out there, you got to find what that passion is. And you got to, if you really want to be good at it, you got to take it seriously. It can't just be for fun. You can, but the ones that do it for fun are not really good at it.
Richard, you may note that you started your podcast 5 years ago, but 5 years is no time in this business, man. I mean, obviously, I think what you have done has been amazing. Just keep at it. And obviously, as you continue to collaborate, as you have with Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and as well as Sportsvision, these opportunities, this is so different and so rare, Thrift, and you can expound on that. But Richard, I do want to make sure that you know that and I'm sure that you're not thinking about giving up, because again, you don't know. You never know who's listening, you never know who's watching, and you never know when that next opportunity is going to come.
Oh yeah, I definitely haven't given up. In fact, I am getting closer and closer to 1,000 episodes.
Wow.
And the reason why I've done so many episodes, it was on a radio station outside of this market for 3 years. And so I was actually producing an hour-long show with guests. I haven't had guests on in a while, because with the jobs that we've been doing at Georgia Alabama Sports Live, I haven't had time to sit down and prep an interview. Like we've had Georgia Alabama Sports Live shows. Thrift and I do a show called Inside the GIAA. I mean, we've got a lot of other shows, and that's why I still am passionate about talking about sports. That's why I commit to at least once a week getting that show out just to keep that show going, because it is my passion, because I think that doing that podcast for 5 years has really given me that experience to get more comfortable talking on a radio setting like this.
Yeah, but as you may mention, DJ, what is happening right now with Sports Vision, Georgia Alabama Sports Live, the coverage, I guess it really just hadn't settled in because we are on a daily grind, DJ, all the time. But I mean, looking back on it from the outside looking in, this is unique, and I hope people understand what is they're getting, because they've been crying for it and now they got it. Don't be one of those that's complaining. Be one of those that's supporting, because you wanted this for such a long period of time. Now you're getting it. What's the excuse now for not supporting local athletics now, DJ? Because you can't have one.
Yeah, absolutely right. I want to take it a step further with regards to support. Obviously, you know, there's companies and businesses that, you know, their products and services can be obviously, you know, magnified with with advertising. And that's how, you know, that's how we earn our keep in this business. And again, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. We scratch each other's back. You know, we're partners, we're community partners. And those are the things that at the end of the day, when you say, you know, again, you know, this was my dream to start this sports radio station. And again, we've done it. We got this morning show when it's live. And of course, yeah, I would love, and again, talking out there, not many people know this, but at some point in the near future, we will have all local talent doing this Sports Visions 92.1. And again, but you have to take baby steps. And again, you know, I'm so thankful for, you know, of course, PMB, Jimbo Martin and the staff here. And of course, my advisor, Neil Major, and of course my legal guy, you know, Ben Finley, and you know, my whole team, my lovely wife. And it just, you know, because again, they you know, if it wasn't for them, and then we may mention how our families and how, you know, how we're surrounded by people that help us do what we do. Those are the folks that have helped get us to this point. And again, a lot of folks never would have gave us a snowball chance in hell of getting here, but we're here. We're here now, and we've delivered partly on what you wanted. We've delivered on what I want. Thrift, you wanted this, you know, so again, it's going to take a concerted effort of you all supporting it, to passing the word along, sharing the broadcast, sharing the information, you know, going on the social media, liking the pages. It's everybody's involved.
Yeah, exactly. But again, it starts from helping and sharing and showing support. It's not hard to click the share button, the like button, the comment. Come on. That's all that's all we ask, DJ. We don't make you pay to come and listen to Sports Visions. I don't make you pay to watch Georgia Alabama Sports Live. One thing in return I ask is you share it and like it. It takes 2 seconds, and all you are sharing these memes and these videos of nonsense. You can't share our stuff. It doesn't take any effort at all. That's the only thing we ask from you. It's not a lot, DJ.
706-324-1420 is the number to call. I know that some of you might be tuning in to hear an interview or there, but sometimes, you know, when you're doing live shows, you know, things happen, and people, you know, it's called life, you know, and it happens. Yeah. You know, some things that you were expecting just didn't happen. Well, with this case with Tony Montgomery, unfortunately, we're not able to get him. But again, we're looking forward to Bryant Thomas coming up at 8:00. Yep. As well as Larry Knox, who will be here at 8:30, and we'll keep right on rolling. But guys, I'm kind of enjoying this opportunity to kind of share. And you know, we've had a lot of, no, we've been on radio, you know, for about a month now, but we're going to have a lot more time to really kind of hone in on these conversations and these topics, because there are people out there too that want to know how you do what you do, Richard, how you do what you do, you know, Thrift, as well as myself. And again, with the whole collaboration of why did you pick these guys? Why did you do? It's not about who picks who. It's about, you know, it organically happened. I mean, you know, it's just when things are meant to be, they happen for a reason. And that reason, when we're talking about how, you know, whether, and it just doesn't have to do with this station. It's just in life, you know. Again, it's one of those things. You put yourself in a good situation. You surround yourself with good people, and good things happen.
Exactly right. And I think it's an awesome opportunity for you to be able to showcase your talent, what you're doing, your programs, and we love any ability to be able to have people on. But if not, you know, we can talk our talk the talk, DJ, with the best of them. So we're looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Thrift, let's get back to talking sports. I know that the NBA All-Star Game, for the folks that were missing or weren't with us a little bit earlier, again, it was a whole format change, and I know that Shaq's OGs, again, they broke it up into different teams, again, with regards to Chuck, Charles Barkley, I call him Chuck, Shaquille O'Neal, Kenny Smith, and again, the female, it was played a long time.
I think it's Candace Parker.
Yes, Candace Parker. And they all broke down to, had teams, and whether they be the OGs as Shaquille O'Neal had, or whether they be the international team, which Barkley had. And I think that the younger teams were coached by Kenny Smith. But it was just a different format, more of a tournament type play, and they were going to 40. They didn't, and it was just, if anything was, I guess, negative, Thrift, that you got out of the whole thing is that it went a little long.
Yeah, and I'm actually reading an article right now. Mixed reviews from the players. They didn't like stopping. There was too many stoppage time. Trae Young, he went on record saying, to be honest, I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the breaks. The games were so short. Obviously, we can score. So they're trying, I feel like, extend the game, obviously, because they're going to 40. These guys can score 40 in a blink of an eye. So they want this All-Star games to last longer, extend the TV time with breaks and things like that. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I would rather play without breaks. I had fun. But I guess it's up to the guys how they want to handle it. But again, I would wish no breaks. And Jaylen Brown said, if you want guys to be more physical, then you can't have breaks in between, because then we got to get back up. We got to get warm. Yeah. Our bodies are not made to take 40-minute breaks in between or 20-minute breaks. So I get it. I know why they made the changes. Players, you blame yourself, as Charles Barkley said last night. But I do agree with the fact that they brought Kevin in for the entertainment aspect of it, but a little over the top. And you knew you were going to get that from Kevin Hart. I mean, he is Mr. Over the Top. But I take away from the breaks in between. I feel like this is more of a TNT thing than it was a NBA All-Star thing, because maybe next year, when it's either hosted by ESPN or NBC, they won't have those 30-minute lulls between games and in the games as well.
Yeah, and I think, the All-Star game, I like the area, the San Francisco Bay Area at the Chase Center. Last time that the All-Star game was in the Bay Area was 2000, and everybody remembers the Vince Carter Slam. But I think that this format, it's going to take some time to get used to. If the players are already complaining about the breaks, we might just go back to East playing West. I mean, they've changed it up, having the international players taking on the American players. We've seen that in the hockey All-Star game. And right now, I think that the NHL is getting it right. They got the Four Nations face-off going on. I know we don't talk a lot about hockey, but I think that is amazing to have that. I think that they're going to try to change up some stuff. I just think that the rookies and the younger players were a little overmatched.
You didn't, and I was going to ask you, DJ, is you played at the highest level. Draymond Green went on record saying he didn't like the fact that he had to bust his butt to even get on the All-Star floor. And now these rising stars got to be on there, and they've been in the league for 1 or 2 years. I guess I understand his gripe, but then again, we're not saying they're all-stars. We're just letting them play against the all-stars. What would be your mindset if you were a veteran player?
Well, not just even a veteran player, just a leader as far as marketing and promotion and promotions in amongst the league in the NBA. Obviously, you want to expose your young talent and the up-and-coming stars. Yeah, I understand what Draymond's saying, but hell, those same veteran guys are the ones that have us in the state that we're in now.
Exactly.
With nobody wanting to really watch, nobody playing, and all the scoring. So yeah, to make it more competitive, to make it more attractive, you got to do different things. And that's the bottom line is that the reason why you are in this state as it is because of the players, the veteran players in the National Basketball Association that put it there. They decided that they were going to not play hard. They were going to, not give the maximum effort. And all we were asking for, and again, maybe that is a bit much, is to give the same efforts that you give during the summer leagues out in California when you're out there in the summer before the season starts. You hear the stories. I've heard the story for years, how competitive that these guys are going at it on these campuses at UCLA and USC, getting ready for the season.
Exactly right, DJ. And then another thing that I looked at is that LeBron, Giannis, and Anthony Edwards didn't play. You guys got to play. I mean, I feel like the key contributors got to be out there and play. I get LeBron at 40 because I think he saw the writing on the wall how this was going to go. But Anthony Edwards and Giannis, I just don't get why they wouldn't want to play in this All-Star game. That sucked last night, not having them in there.
Well, guys, one thing is for sure, and I've heard this as well. I didn't realize that. I always thought that the NBA All-Star game came at the halfway point. That's not true. It's like 50 games in as opposed to 30 games in or 35 games in. What 60? How many games?
Close to 60 games now, DJ.
Yeah,
so they got like 20 more left.
So again, I was hearing that the guys, and I just assumed that it was, the All-Star game was at the halfway mark. But if they moved it to the halfway point, guys would not be apt to miss games because again, they're closer to the playoffs and closer to the end of the season now than they would have been had they gone at the halfway point.
Yeah, they need to go back to having it during the midway point. But I get it. I understand they want to make it a big event after the Super Bowl, President's Day weekend. I mean, this is the first full weekend that we have not had football since August. And so they're trying to get people that were sports fans to watch the NBA All-Star game. Of course, we had the Daytona 500. And we've had big games in women's college basketball, Alabama, Auburn, and so if you're just a casual sports fan that just likes just seeing these events, I mean, it's hard to grasp. I'm kind of curious to see how many viewership was the audience that watched the All-Star game, because there's people that liked it and there's people that hated it. But I mean, you can't please everybody, but I do think that it was different, and we'll see what they decide to do next year.
We have some people commenting, including Dr. Killer, Sylvester Elkin, saying, are NFL players not complaining about the new Pro Bowl format? I guess that's another conversation, too, about what the Pro Bowl just – I don't even watch it. I don't even know what happened on that. Their weekend was even worse.
They play flag football. They don't play. They don't tackle. They don't play. There's no contact anymore. But again, that's the same situation. Different. But again, out of all the sports, football is the most physical, the most dangerous.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and so a Major League Baseball All-Star game, an NBA All-Star game, but a football game, man, when you put on, you're strapping it up. And you're going at it, and so those guys are brother-in-law in it out there. And they said when you say brother-in-law, I mean it. You're not going hard against your buddy. You're not going as if you were in regular season. But that's the deal with that.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that too, DJ. And the season's over with a lot of these NFL players, so they don't have any incentive, at least for basketball and baseball. They're in the middle of their season. They still have juices. They don't want to get too unfresh, and we think they would be motivated, but they're not.
One thing that I do want to say and add is that I've heard most recently a conversation where they're talking about, the college all-star games, meaning that, the Pro Bowlers and again, the NBA, or at least the NFL guys, they play, 17 games. And again, they have the playoffs for the ones that go on and play in postseason. And the game is so physical that, you take that opportunity, take that stage and use it for the college all-star game. Maybe partner with the Senior Bowl and some sort of, they got a couple of different all-star games out there. But again, my point is, if you want to add something to the NFL Pro Bowl, or at least the all-star game, is that, it's the tough. It's out of all the leagues, it's the toughest one for, it's the toughest apple to bite into, if you want to use that term. Because again, it's at the end of the season, and of course, it's just guys have played. It's just the physicality is just through the roof.
Yeah, they just don't care. And then you're right. Why would they going to kill themselves? And because of the physicality of the game, it wouldn't make any sense. I get why they don't care about it, and why we probably don't even really need to have a Pro Bowl. Just say who are some of the players, all-stars, and let that be it for NFL.
Well, if you look at the other all-star games in Major League Baseball, about 10 years ago, they wanted the game to mean something, because they didn't want the game to end in a tie. And so the winner would get home field advantage in the World Series. And some of the teams didn't like that. I mean, because that's really not fair, especially when you have a team with the best record in baseball. They got to travel on the road. But I know that I don't think Commissioner Silver is going to go that route. I don't think we're going to have Eastern Conference versus Western Conference. The winner gets home court advantage in the NBA Finals. I think that's not a very good idea. I like what the NHL is doing with the Four Nations face-off, because that's getting prepared for the Winter Olympics in 2026 because we will have NHL players. And so that kind of gives that feel to it. But yeah, the NBA, I wish it would just go back to when Michael Jordan was playing hard, Magic Johnson went in the MVP, when he came out of retirement to play in 92, and he just had those incredible passes to Tim Hardaway. And it was great seeing that when I was a kid. I mean, the NBA All-Star game was fun and exciting when I was a kid. I was trying to figure out what happened.
Well, guys, we're a few minutes away from our last break before the top of the hour. And, of course, coming up at 8 o'clock, we have an opportunity to get to know Coach Bryant Thomas, who is, of course, the girls basketball coach over at Pacelli. And actually, he's one of the pivotal members of the, of course, CB Hoops and Perfect Practice and all the good stuff that Corey Black has rolled out here in the community over the past few decades. But when you talk about, again, closing out what we've been saying, about all-star games and all of that things. I mean, why are we even there? I mean, again, is it all about the money? Is it all about, because again, the bottom line is we all love sports and these guys are playing and they make an exorbitant amount of money. But at the end of the day, those corporate sponsors, those leaders, the people that run these leagues, they want to make more.
Yeah, they do. And they just keep going and going and going and going. Everything is a big money grab too. And it's taken away from the game. By the way, Sylvester Elkin said NBA players just too spoiled and rich. I didn't watch it. The women's college game is more exciting. Great games yesterday. WNBA is coming in on fire.
Yes.
Yeah, I do agree with that. WNBA is going to be a lot of fun coming in. And I'm excited about the way the rest of this NBA season is going to play out. I think the playoffs could be one of the more exciting playoffs we've had in several years. Should be fun.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to take you into the life of Coach Bryant Thomas. He's the girls basketball coach at Pacelli, and, of course, they're doing quite well. And he is also a part of some other special things that we'll let you know about in just a little bit. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2, Sports Visions 921. This is the Sports Visions Morning Show.
Yes, I did, but I guess you didn't know. As I said, a story goes.
Stay tuned. More local and national sports coverage next on the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1.
This hour of the Sports Visions Morning Show is brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services.
At Sun Chevrolet, you can ride in a new 2025 Chevrolet for less than $25,000. Pick a new Trailblazer, Trax, Equinox, or Malibu for less than $25,000. Why buy a used car when you can possibly buy a new 2025 Chevy for less? Financing a new vehicle can be easy. Come see us at Sun Chevrolet and give us a try. Now that's savings with Suns. Together, let's drive. Online at sunchevrolet.com.
The Finley Firm specializes in representing clients in wrongful death and personal injury cases.
Are you ready to make a difference in healthcare? Global Diagnostic Services is hiring. We're looking for compassionate and skilled registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, x-ray technicians, and ultrasound technicians to join our growing team. At Global Diagnostics, we offer competitive pay where you can thrive and advance your career. If you're passionate about patient care and want to be a part of a team that's dedicated to excellence, we want to hear from you. Whether you're looking for a full-time position or a flexible part-time opportunity in the state of Georgia, visit globaldiagnostic.net to apply today.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed. Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen, to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Start your engines.
I'm 8th generation watermelon farmer and NASCAR driver Ross Chastain. And one thing's for sure, racing with professional drivers requires me to use my melon. So if you've had a drink after a long day at work or celebrated a little too much, always surrender those keys to a sober designated driver. Because you should never mix drinking with any kind of driving, and that's using your melon.
A message from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
WLTC HD2 Casita and W221DP Columbus. You're listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Sports Visions 92.1. Your home for the Dan Patrick Show, 9 to 12 on Sports Visions 92.1. Now back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's former Green Bay Packer DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer, and a big shout out to Richard Holdridge, who held it down this morning.
Big Rich.
In, going over our local segments and filling us in on all the great things that he's doing with regards to calling games on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And of course, we just had a great opportunity to kind of do a roundtable discussion about your aspirations in your wishes is to getting into this great business. And again, you have more opportunities now than you can shake a stick at, because all you need now is to go live. And whether you're at a baseball game, a basketball game, or whatever sporting event it is, it's that simple. But at the same time, it's not that simple. Through
exactly right, and we appreciate all the support that we get around here, and looking forward to how the playoffs are going to play out in high school basketball.
Speaking of playoffs, we got a coach here that has done really well, again, both on and off the field. Of course, I'm talking about Coach Bryant Thomas from Pacelli, the Vikings, Lady Vikings head basketball coach. Coach, welcome to the Sports Visions Morning Show. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing this morning? Great for having me. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Good deal, man. I tell you, we were talking early on about, you coming on and talk about some of the great things that you guys have been doing with regards to, your good friend, Corey Black. Of course, we talked about that aspect of it, because you have so many different, paths and so many different callings with regards to your involvement as a coach, as a leader, as a person that inspires. Congratulations, first of all, but just for the folks out there that don't quite know you, because you are well known, but there's some new people here on the Sports Visions Morning Show that don't. Coach, let's back up. Let's go through where it all started for you. Where did you grow up, and when did you start playing this game that you coach so well?
Bryant Thomas. I'm here from Columbus, Georgia. I started playing this game of basketball when I was about eight or nine. I was out in Texas, Wichita Falls, Texas. Started playing. My uncle got me started. Then we moved back here to Columbus, and started with Tony Adams when I was in the 5th grade. Been playing since then. So we did a lot of travel basketball through the Georgia Blazers program, and we merged at one point with Atlanta Celtics, and I was on a part of a team with Dwight Howard, Josh Smith, Randolph Morris, guys like Amari Stoudemire, Travis Outlaw, guys that played in the NBA. So that's kind of part of my journey as far as the high school and travel basketball. I started out in high school. I was at Central my freshman year and transferred to Shaw. From Shaw, graduating from Shaw, went JUCO. And that's kind of how me and Corey met. Corey Black met probably my senior year. He was down here at Columbus State. And, Corey just trying to network with people. And he seen I could play basketball. I said, hey, man, you mind if you want to go on some trips, some JUCOs, and kind of get your name out there so folks can see who you are? Well, because really I didn't qualify. I didn't qualify to go play at the Division I, so I knew I had to go JUCO. So went on some trips with Corey. And I knew I was going to I wound up going to Coastal Georgia, was there for 2 years. And then I transferred from there and went to a school in West Virginia called Fairmont State. And I was there for 6 months. Granddaddy passed. Grandmother got sick right around Christmas time. And right after that, I had a brother that passed away. So from that part, man, I was away from basketball for about a year and a half. about away from about a year and a half from basketball. And I started helping Tony Adams coach travel basketball. And, man, I really started loving the game of basketball, coaching it. And I said, this is what I wanted to do. And Charleston Young, the assistant coach at Missouri State at the time, was a coach at Georgia Tech. And he came and talked to the players. And, man, he touched me then. And he was like, man, you need to get – if you want to really get into coaching, you need to go get your degree. At that point, I was like, man, I need to go get my degree. I said, what's the next step I need to do after that? He said, once you get your degree, give me a call. And that's what and I walked back into Columbus State, and I knew I was like, man, I can go get my degree by playing basketball instead of spending some money. I was over with basketball. And I walked in to Coach Doug Branson and said, hey, man, I need a scholarship, man. He said, why I need to give you a scholarship? I said, man, I feel like I can help the team. And me and him talked. We figured it out. I said, I don't need a whole lot. I don't need the room and board. Hey, I just need to make sure I can get some food. I can, just take care of that part. I'm a local player.
Right.
So, I mean, every day went to practice. I mean, I was part of the staff, really. I was helping with scouting, recruiting. I was doing it at Coastal Georgia. I actually helped helped some kids from here, go get into school. So, graduated from Columbus State, and Robert Moore asked me to, come on board because that was part of my vision was going to coach college basketball. And, I went and helped Robert Moore recruit players 2 years. And then I started my training business, basketball training business, Perfect Practice. And we started doing the training. And from there, I was middle school coach at Brookstone for 3 years. And then, Jay Sparks was like, hey, man, you can't keep doing middle school. You need to move up to varsity. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I like training. I like the time that it is with middle school. It's a short period of time, and I get back to my life. And he said, nah, man, you got to move up. And I went up. I was with Bentley Sparks, Jay Sparks' son, for 3 years. We made a run. We made it to the Elite Eight. That's when we was Georgia High School, man. We had a great run. And then I got out of coaching. Which is crazy. I got out of coaching for about 2.5, 3 years. I got into investments and insurance. I got away, and I still do that to this day. And, man, Herman Porter called me and said, man, you need to get on the girls' side, man. You need to get on the girls' side. Man, I'm not studying no more basketball. I'm not studying. I'm not doing it. And he was like, man, you need to really do it. Corey called me, man, hey, man, I need you to come over and help. Like, man, no, I'm done. I'm burnt out. And then finally, Corey got me in, got me to start coaching again, and I love it. I had a daughter, so that's what made sense, man. I had to get on the girls' side. Because I had a daughter. I mean, I was running the boys travel basketball program, Catavius Caldwell program, and then my own. And then we kind of switched back and went to under my brand, Perfect Practice, and that's kind of where I was at right now. So that's what led me to here was Corey Black. There was a relationship from 20 years ago, just trying to help kids, man. It's all about the kids. And
let me tell you something. That what you just unpacked, man, is just he dropped so many nuggets on it. It's so many different ways.
Well, a lot of things I didn't even know, and I call him my brother, man.
And that's
Brian,
why.
Come on.
That's why this show is so important. I mean, as much as this young man has done. And again, he threw some things out there. We're gonna rehash it and go back in. He eloquently laid it out.
Beautiful.
And it doesn't get any better than that. But Thrift, I tell you, when you're talking about this guy, he's so quiet and mild mannered and a kind of behind the scenes kind of guy like that. But you just got so much that you have to offer. And I can tell and I see it. And now I just heard how what led to all of this. And those kids just have a gift. They have a God sent them a gift in Coach Thomas. And again, we appreciate you sharing that with us here this morning, man, because again, there's some other young people out there. There's some parents and there's some kids that are listening that are being motivated. And they had no idea that you had done all of this as well.
Yes, man. It's just a blessing to be able to be a blessing to other people.
Yeah. And Bryant, we go back to your coaching days. You heard that guy speak from Georgia Tech, kind of motivating you and stuff. And then you said you went the route of training. Do you think the training aspect of Perfect Practice helped you become a better coach that you are today? Because, you can't, I think you're a developer of talent, but that's not the same thing as being X and O's. You want to be both, and you're able to do that. You give credit to the training aspect, helping you develop the program that you have today at Pacelli.
Yeah, it's a blessing to be able to find the details and pay attention to the details and to be able to teach the game. A lot of people can play the game, but not able to go teach the game. I feel that I can do all aspects of it. I can train, I can teach it, I can coach it. Everybody don't have that ability. Some people just can train, some people just can coach it, so, and having an eye for the small things and bringing it in the detail. So the training part is a great part. Yeah. So you get a kid and you got to have a vision for that kid. Everybody is not going to be the same player. And, you just got to help the kid see their vision to where they're trying to go. And then, what brings it into today's game, man, I still had an old school philosophy, man. I'm going to coach you hard. Parents got to stay out of my way if you want your child to have the success they want to. And that's where we at right now, man. The parents, if they just can believe in the vision, trust the process, the kid can get better.
Coach Bryant Thomas is our guest today here on the Sportsvisions morning show. And Coach, Thrift and I were talking earlier as we were teasing that the fact that you were going to be on is that, one of the things that, I know that has a part of your success in your program is that your wife is on the bench with you as an assistant coach. And that means wonders because we know how much family means, but to have your wife with you, helping you, that has to be a joy.
Oh, yes, man. And it's crazy how she's on my bench, taking over Pacelli, man. Deion Wilson did a great job, him and Corey Black putting together some pieces there. But, man, I couldn't find nobody to help me coach. So, and then when you get coaching women's, man, you got to have a female that's on the bench because, hey, man, it's too much going on these days. So, man, she does a great job of building a relationship with the girls and, communicate with me what's going on with some of the kids. And now that relationship that she built with the girls are able to talk to me about a lot of different things I wouldn't think they'd come to me and talk about. But that started through my wife, so her being on the bench has helped. It's been great. So, it's a balance. It's a balance between coaching, dad, husband. And then, a lot of time as a coach, coaches get that part where they so vested into the craft of being a coach, man, they forget about the home life. Well, right now we have a balance, man. I don't have to worry about, if I'm out too late, I got to go watch. I'm downstairs watching film or doing stuff like that, helping prepare for the game, so I don't get that backlash at the house.
And we're going to talk about the team this year and the run you've been on, but you also have duties of helping Calvin in the athletic side as being assistant athletic director. You've had to take on a lot of responsibilities that was all under Corey last year. And I got to commend you on that, man. I know with this Calvin being the newcomer and he is still, learning things, having you there that was experience and understanding how things go under Corey the last several years. How's that been for you being as an admin now, not just the head coach of the girls team?
Oh, man, it's a grind. It's a grind, man. If you do all the way you do some things, how you do everything, you do it the right way, do it hard, be there early, do what you got to do, be prepared, man. It's just like the game, man. The game of basketball going to teach you how to do everything in life. Sports going to teach you how to do everything in life if you do it the right way. So, man, it's a grind. We got baseball today, so I mean, that aspect of adding to what I was already doing, it's just having a vision, being ahead, being prepared. And every day, I got to see what's out there. You got to get in front of the students, make sure they seeing you. It's a lot of little stuff. And then being at a private school, man, it's a lot of tasks. People don't even know what I have to do. Like a bus don't move at our school unless I look at it. Like at public school, you just call and put in for a bus. Well, I'm looking at the buses because I can't let a field trip happen. I got athletics in the evening.
Wow.
We messed up. See, folks don't know all this stuff, Yeah. So it's a grind, bro. It's a grind being in this position, but at the same time, I love it.
Coach Thomas, let's talk about your network again, because you've accomplished. You reeled off all of these different things that were just spectacular. but your network and making sure that you are professional and you are a good character guy, that goes a long way. Otherwise, you wouldn't have made it nowhere near where you have as far as going up the totem pole. And as you were able to accomplish each one of those feats, as you talked to us about eloquently a little earlier. But talk a little bit about, and then you're talking again to some people out here that you might help your networking and your character.
Networking, man, a lot of the contacts and people, I believe almost every relationship I have to this day is through basketball.
Yeah.
You know, from as a little kid to high school, the coaches that recruited me in high school, a lot of those guys are coaching Division I basketball. Someone was JUCO, you know, so you can't overlook a coach where they are right now. I mean, I heard a coach say, hey, man, I ain't talking to that coach. This is before COVID. I heard a coach one time say this, man, I ain't talking to that coach, man. He's a JUCO coach.
Wow.
Today, that JUCO coach he was talking about is Division I coach.
Right.
But you want to help kids. You can't help kids. You can't help people if you're not going to see where they are right now. Where somebody is right now is not where they're going to be later on. So you got to build every relationship and don't try to use people. You know, a lot of times people want to get in with you to try to figure out things and then do their own thing. That's not me. That's not me. So it's about building a relationship, staying connected with people, because people having a relationship with people is going to help things easier, make things easier for you in life. Just like when you came to me, DJ, and said, hey, I need you on the show. I said, just let me know.
That's right.
I can call DJ and say, hey, man, I need you to come talk to the kids in the fall league.
Yep.
Just let me know, and we're going to work it out. You know, it's easy to pick up a phone and say, hey, I need you.
Right.
And you probably ain't talked to that person in a minute, but they know how hard you love what you're doing. You know, so it's all about the relationship.
Where'd the love from basketball come from? Was it a young age? Was it somebody in your family, mom, dad, uncle? Where did that love come from, Coach?
I really don't know. My grandma played. My dad played. My mom says she played a little bit, but you know, she was a gymnastic. She did gymnastics. I learned how to flip and all that from her. But I think I just started watching it, and I take that back. I remember watching Thurman Thomas play football, and he got hurt. I was like, man, I ain't playing football, man. You get hurt too much. And I realized basketball, I was probably like 6 years old, and I kept telling my grandma, she was always like, she's a big sports fan. If baseball is on, she's watching. Basketball's on, she's watching. Whatever's on, she was watching. So my family is really a sports family. So if you play sports, everybody gonna support you. Everybody gonna follow you. So I just fell in love in the game. You know, watching it.
Coach Thomas, perfect practice, and I've had an opportunity to experience that as a speaker a few years back, and when you guys were at the church in North Highlands, up in North Columbus. But how did that concept come about?
That concept, well, the concept came about. Me and Corey was trying to do fall league for a long time, and it wasn't no fall league south of Atlanta. And we was like, hey, we want to do something different. And, you know, back in the day, midnight basketball, no workshop, no jump shot.
Right.
And we said, man, we got to give these kids some substance, you know. So that's how me and Corey came up with the workshop. I mean, it's really the same format as midnight that Tony and Herman Porter did, you know. So we kind of took that same concept and said, hey, man, these kids need to understand when the ball stops bouncing, what are you going to do? I mean, like I told you in my story, man, I went JUCO. Man, I played with 5 guys that's in the that was in the NBA. Man, I could have went Division I. I could have went overseas. I could have did all of that. But I'm saying I could have. But what can I do to help somebody else?
Yeah.
So let me help prepare some kids and give some and parents to understand that, hey, while you're in high school, make sure you're taking care of your academics. Having the right character. You know, being prepared to go play at the next level, because, hey, when you go play at the next level, you earn that scholarship, but a lot of people think when you get the scholarship, you're good. Coach, you know, we on a 1-year deal. At the end of that season, coach going to come meet you. A lot of parents don't know that. Like, the coaches are trying to make sure their family is fed. So if kids don't understand that part, I didn't quite understand that part. I knew I was good, but when the ball stopped bouncing, I don't want the ball to stop bouncing, and people have a hard time transitioning. I didn't have a hard time transition because the part of my life where my granddaddy died, my grandma was sick, my brother passed away. I was in that time at one point working 2 jobs. Like, man, this can't be life.
Yeah.
This can't be life. I realized I needed a degree. I needed to have some things in order. So why not take my story and be able to help somebody else? So those life lessons was able to help me help other people. So in my mindset all the time, when people are going through things, I always say this: what you're going through right now is not for you. It's for you to help someone else.
Coach Tommy, you made mention of some names, and I want, for the benefit of the people that are just joining us here, but you played in that network of people that you had. I just mentioned those names again because people they like big names, but these people were a part of your life. These people were a part of your development.
Tony Adams, huge part, kept the gym open for me, during that time where, the gym wasn't always open for you. Tony, he was there any time I called. Man, he helped a lot of kids. He helped a lot of kids in the community. And him and Herman Porter, they was a big part. And when you come in, certain times, man, where the streets are supposed to protect us, man, if you're an athlete, that's not happening today. These young kids are going straight to the streets, and Tony kept a lot of us from the streets. Tony and Herman kept a lot of us from the streets, man. When there was so much bad stuff going on, but those street folks called Tony and Herman and said, hey, you need to get these kids and make sure that they can make it. So, and then, like I said, Corey Black, man, him met 25 years ago, man. That's crazy. Through basketball, 25 years ago, me and Corey Black met, so, and that relationship still continues to this day about helping kids. If it ain't about helping people, what are we doing? And I learned that from Tony and Herman, man. You got to be able to help people, man, because that's where your blessings come from.
Yeah, exactly right, Bryant. And, I appreciate you and investing in all the young talent around here, but you were heavy on the boys' side. You may mention that transition to the girls. How was that? Your first practice 2 years ago, you take over and set the stage. You take over a Pacelli program that had not won a lot of games in recent years. And in your first year, you won more games than they had the previous 3 years combined. But where did that love for coaching girls and how was that transition for you, especially that first season?
The love of coaching the girls was, man, Kinsley Thomas.
No doubt.
I seen a vision, like if I'm a coach basketball, I gotta transition to the girls side. Cause hey, when Kinsley was about 3 years old, I was coaching the boys, and you do shirts and skin. She seen that a lot, and one day she came and took her shirt off. She in there dribbling the basketball. I said, "Oh no. We got to. You don't do that, baby. You don't do that." So, and she kept dribbling the basketball. And I said, "Hey, eventually I'm gonna have to move to the girls' side." And when Corey brought it to me, he said, "Hey, man." I said, "Well, I had started helping Herman a little bit with his girl program, which I do that today too." So, so that's how I kind of got on the girls, and I mean, I love it now. I love it because the girls, they're going to give you everything that you ask them to do. If you tell them, hey, go work on your shooting form, and they're going to work on the shooting form. Boys, once they get to about 8th, 9th grade, they done with that. They're already trying to dunk. That's all they want to do is try to dunk. So, man, the girls going to actually do what you ask them to do, man. So, man, I done coached about 40 games already so far because I coach my middle school too.
Wow.
So and I'm going when the season over with, I'm going right in travel ball with my daughter. So it don't stop.
Coach Bryant Thomas, the girls basketball coach over at St. Anne Pacelli. Coach, you may mention that you're a trainer, you're a teacher, you're a coach, but your daughter right now, if she couldn't come under your tutelage, who and why and what are the types of things you look for as somebody to basically mentoring and training your daughter?
What I look for is someone that's going to be firm, somebody that's going to have the vision and the ability to communicate that to the player. Being able to, be hard on her, but at the same time, be able to say, hey, this is what you got to do. That's me, So I look for someone that's like me, that's what I say. I don't want nobody, I don't want no soft coach that's going to sit on the bench. You ain't coaching my daughter if you're just going to sit there and not say nothing. If you're going to let her walk up and down the court, nope, she can't play for you. If you ain't going to correct her when she's wrong, she's not going to play for you. I don't care if she's the best player or not. You got to coach her. You got to coach her. And that's how I am. I'm going to coach every kid that walk in my program. And that's what I expect somebody else to do that coach my daughter. Or if they coach my daughter, you got to be able to coach her. Don't let her give her no slack because she's my child. No, I want you to coach her. I don't, do it the right way. So I coach the best kid as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, the other kids are going to see, man, they can get away with this. Nah, that ain't how it works. I don't care who you is. I'm a coach.
Yeah, no doubt, coach. And let's talk about this year's team. You're defending champion. You have not lost a game in the GIAA in 2 years, 27-game winning streak. You're coming into the playoffs this year, led by, the reigning player of the year, Michaela Hosley, but you're not ranked number one, coach. So what's your thought heading into the playoffs? Now, I've already griped for you. So I know you're not going to say anything, but it's this year maybe a little bit tougher than it was last year.
Oh, yeah, man. Rankings are for you guys to talk about, man. I'm not keeping up with no rankings, man. We'll line it up when the ball is thrown up, and we'll be prepared. Where we are right now is because of the kids. Led by Michaela Hosley, Grace Smith, Tamaya Ransom coming off the bench, Kamora Jones starting to make shots. Ivy is being a presence in the post. I mean, we're a solid team that's still learning. Solid team that's still learning, and when we're clicking. So we're not worried about the rankings. We'll play you when the ball is thrown up. So we'll be waiting for whoever it is we play on Friday.
Well, Coach Thomas, we appreciate you, man, and sharing your story. And obviously, we got to bring you back because I want to elaborate on some other things that you talked about specifically because, again, that's what they need to hear the positivity. They need to hear the hard work. They need to hear all of the things that made you the man that you are today. And again, and they understand that you put in the work.
Oh, yes, definitely put in the work. This wasn't nothing given to me overnight. And that's what a lot of people, I think need to be a part where people that want to become coaches.
Yeah.
They think, man, I'm good at what I'm doing. I need to be a head coach right now, man. The coaching part is easy. It's the other stuff that you got to worry about.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be a head coach. I would have loved to be an assistant. I could be a good assistant for a long time, and that way you can walk out the door when you're ready. As a head coach, man, you're going to be the first one. You're going to be the last one. So it's so much, like you say, DJ, man, it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot, man, that people really need to understand in this coaching profession, man, what you got to do.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you, man. And hey, look, good luck on the rest of the season anyway. And we look forward to talking to you on down the road.
All right. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you, BT.
That's Coach Bryant Thomas from the Pacelli Vikings, the Lady
Unbelievable,
Vikings.
Man.
He's a powerful young man. I'll tell you what, you talk about powerful young man. We got an athletic director we're going to chat with here in just a little bit that's got it going on over in the county. I'm talking about Russell County, and I'm talking about Coach Larry Knox. We'll be right back after this. You're watching Facebook Live, and you're listening to WLTC HD2 Sports Visions 92.1. We are your hometown sports guys.
Still at the scrub J's with a toothbrush.
If it's local, it's on the Sports Visions Morning Show with former Georgia Bulldog DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Police have charged Travis Rivers with murder after two people were found shot inside a burned house in Troup County. Jabrika Williams and Roderick Kennedy were discovered dead on February 8th. Rivers was already in jail on unrelated charges and now faces multiple felony counts. Stay with News 3 both on air and online for updates on this case. A North Columbus family narrowly escaped disaster after strong storms uprooted trees that crashed into their home. Evan Thormer says emergency sirens alerted them just in time to get to safety. Despite severe damage, everyone made it out unharmed.
We hadn't gotten those warnings. There's a very good likelihood that we'd be worried about more than just a house.
Republican Dale Washburn of Macon introduced House Bill 225, which intends to ban school zone speed cameras and repeal House Bill 978 that passed in 2018, which allowed for the use of the cameras. Washburn believes these cameras in school zones do not make this area any safer. Columbus Mayor Skip Henderson says since the implementation of the cameras, there have not been any encounters between children and vehicles. From WRBL News 3, I'm Rex Castillo. Have a great rest of your day.
Good Monday morning. We are starting off the day a lot quieter as those temperatures continue to fall closer to freezing by daybreak. Midday readings will be climbing into the mid-40s under plenty of sunshine, and it's going to be cooler this afternoon under those clear sky conditions, but those highs do reach the low 50s. Cold tonight with patchy frost likely, lows dropping to near freezing, and tomorrow we'll be watching clouds increase with those temperatures closer to 60.
Attorney advertising. Local counsel, Alexander should hire trial attorneys. Paid act and dramatization. Past results and not guarantee future results in each case.
I can't believe everybody. They just gonna leave me for dead. Like I'm never gonna recover.
Yo,
like I'll never
Gucci.
be back on my feet. When I get this money, y'all better have the same energy. Don't come asking me for nothing. And I'm about to get a lot. Top dollar, a lot. Only person ain't leave me was my dog. That was Top Dog. The way he bit that insurance company, getting me a lot of money. Now everybody wanna come back around. They know that check about to hit. They know the money coming. Top dollar, that check about to hit. Nah, bro, stay over there. Chose your side, stay over there. Told you my electric was getting cut off. What you say? I ain't got it. But you out in the club popping bottles. It's cool. Stay over there. Top Dog Law.
Get ready. It's almost time for the 16th annual Alzheimer's Association Dancing Stars of Columbus. Make plans to be a part of this exciting night, Thursday, February 27th at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center, all to support the Alzheimer's Association. The 2025 Dancing Stars, made up of community champions, are paired with professional partners to raise funds to support those directly affected by Alzheimer's. Visit sportsvision921.com to buy a ticket, buy a table, or make a donation today.
At Sun Chevrolet, you can ride in a new 2025 Chevrolet for less than $25,000. Pick a new Trailblazer, Trax, Equinox, or Malibu for less than $25,000. Why buy a used car when you can possibly buy a new 2025 Chevy for less? Financing a new vehicle can be easy. Come see us at Sun Chevrolet and give us a try. Now that's savings with Suns. Together, let's drive. Online at sunchevrolet.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it. I got the job. I can't believe it.
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Now, back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. Here's Denver Broncos 1987 AFC champion DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer.
Welcome back to the Sports Visions Morning Show. DJ Jones, Thrift Barringer. Big shout out to Bryant Thomas. Man, oh man, Thrift. Did he drop some nuggets on us or what?
He dropped some nuggets on me, and I've known this man for close to 10 years, and I didn't know he graduated from Shaw and all the stuff that he said. And if you want to listen to that, we got on the Sports Visions podcast, Sports Visions Morning Show, Apple and Spotify, YouTube channel, Facebook, and, of course, PNB/sites.com, and you can click on Sports Visions for our website. So many ways to be able to go back and listen to that great interview.
Absolutely. Of course, speaking of interviews, this is a guy here who has history himself. Again, he has done some tremendous things and of course, in and around the Phoenix City schools. Now he's a lifelong resident of Russell County, and he just happens to be the athletic director of Russell County High School. Please welcome to the show, Coach Larry Knox. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are y'all doing today?
I'm wonderful, man. So good to see you Saturday morning down at the Chattahoochee Valley's Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. I enjoyed myself, Coach. How'd you enjoy yourself?
Yes, sir. It was a great day. Anytime we can recognize our students, shout out to the Chattahoochee Valley Hall of Fame for their Grit Award. It's always a good time to recognize student athletes, just not for their stats, but for, fighting through things and what they mean to their team.
Coach, I tell you, it was a pleasure to see you. It's a pleasure to have you on the show because obviously after chatting, I learned so much more about what you got going on in that community, that great community that you're in over there, and that great school, that great program, that great environment, man. That space is special right now. And again, I want to give you the opportunity first and foremost. We got people here that might remember you. That I ain't gonna say might, that do remember you from all of the years and all the great teams that you coached at over at Central. But why don't we bring them up to speed? Just kind of hit, give them an executive summary, if you will, of where you came from.
I did spend 14 years in Phoenix City. I was middle school football coach for 2 years, and then the 9th grade head coach for 2 years. I was also the director of baseball operations during that time. Taught 5th grade level, 6th grade level, 9th grade level. And 3 years ago, made the transition to Russell County Schools to become the athletic director. And, in that time, in these 3 years, I've just been trying to push forward the idea that took place 4 years ago, a year before I got there, when the school system, school board, and the superintendent made the decision to upgrade all of our game day athletic facilities. They renovated our football stadium, built a new baseball, softball complex, and completely renovated our high school and middle school gyms. So it's been exciting to be a part of that. And now, we're in the process of building a 35,000 square foot building.
Wow.
That will become our, right now we just have one gym, DJ, and it's tough for 5 basketball teams, 2 wrestling programs to get practice time in one building.
True.
So the beauty of this new building, the box will be big enough that we can practice our 9th grade boys and JV boys all at the same time during our 4th block athletic PE. So they will get about an hour and 25 minute practice, and then we can put them on the bus and send them home. And then we can bring in our varsity and practice at that time. Our girls will be able to use the current gym while the boys are in the new, and we'll swap that every week so everybody gets a chance to use the new. So this building is truly going to change the landscape of Russell County athletics. It provides us so much more of practice facilities that we've been desperately needing.
Coach, in the profession that you're in, obviously, these buildings, and as the athletic director, you're in charge of a lot of things. Do include coaches and the athletes, but these projects, these facilities that the community and the city, the county has put forth funds to, however they brought up got the money together. But you are the guy, you're the leader. How much of this did you learn, or were you capable, or were you able to learn that on the job prior to? I mean, because again, I just think it's awesome that you can lead the way you're leading, and still, of course, got all of this these facilities going on. You got to have your hat in here and have your hat over there. How do you do all that?
Well, I had an 18-year career at Total Systems before I entered the education world.
Okay.
And that's where I gained a lot of my business background. When I left in 2014, I was a director of operations over the Department of Ed account that we had. And so having that business background, and then DJ Thrift, I've been the president of every youth organization in Phoenix City, Coach Pitch, Little League, Dixie Boys, Upward Basketball. So just learning to deal with people, from all aspects of the total systems, the youth leagues, has really been a benefit for me to be able to sit down with our leaders in Russell County and plan for the future of our athletics.
Including, you want to improve the game day operations, which you did. I got to call my first Russell County game earlier this year. You scored about 100 points in that game. The quarterback, Bryson Riggins, threw about 9 touchdown passes in that game. But it's not just with Dylan Griggs and the football that may have their best season in 20-something years. It is a consistent winning of Coach Battle, who I think is one of the best basketball minds we have in our area. Coach Jones in girls basketball has a team full of freshmen and sophomores that were really competitive this year and building for next year. Had a 20-point score, and Mackenzie Ward, Daniel Danielson. Richard talked about having a Division I former player coaching the softball program. What went into elevating these programs? You had a hand in really a lot of these hires and making sure Russell County got to the level it needs to be as one of the top programs in our area.
Well, the biggest thing we've been trying to look at is when you mentioned Danny Danielson, Ronnie Battle, Ricky Jones, they're all products of Russell County High School. So you're not going to always be able to get former students at every head coaching level, but if you've got a good mix, the beauty is our complexes did not look like they do today when they coached, when they played at Russell County. So it means more to them. They appreciate what the school district is doing, and they put in more effort because of that, because they want to leave it better. Our girls basketball program, to win 12 games this year after the last few years that they've had, it's just, and like you said, just 8th, 9th, and sophomores. It is phenomenal, the job that Coach Jones has done. Coach Battle had his basketball team in the regionals last year. We lose on a buzzer beater in the sub-regional this year to keep us from going back 2 years in a row. So our athletic program as a whole is moving in the right direction. Our softball program has, prior to Coach Webb taking over, had not won a game in 5 years. So they missed the regionals by 1 game last year. So our soccer program, we fully expect our soccer program this year to make the playoffs. Our track program, we had 179 kids come out for track this season. And it's because we had some student athletes that qualified for the state and got runner-ups. We had an 8th grader that got the runner-up in long jump, the 200. And the only reason she didn't do that in the 400 was she had pulled her hamstring a little bit, and the coach made the decision to hold her out. So it's not just one sport. All of our sports are headed in the right direction at this time.
Coach Knox, when you talk about Russell County High School, the Warriors as your mascot, as you develop and build this program, you have a situation where there's a Central, then there's a Smith Station, and there's a Glenwood, and there's some other schools around you. But of course, how important is it for you all to be successful and to show making strides that you're going to have the best of the best with regards to upgrading your facilities, so that you can get that influx of students that belong to you at Russell County as opposed to transferring to those other places?
Well, and that's the key. We have to be successful on the playing field, and we have to have the facilities to match what's around us, and not just facilities. We've made a conscious effort in the last year to make sure all of our athletic teams are in Nike uniforms. We're a Nike school as well as a lot of schools around us, and that's what the kids want.
Yes.
So we have to play that game with the other schools. You see this RC logo behind me over my shoulder here.
Right.
We want to brand that. When you think of Auburn High School, Opelika High School, you see their script A, their O, and you know exactly who that is. So we're working hard of that interlocking RC becoming our brand. And that was part of the plan 4 years ago. Our school board and superintendent rebranded Russell County. So the key is to every athletic team we have to have everybody's using the same logo now. When I first got to Russell County, everybody had something different. We all had different uniforms, various brands. We just re-signed a contract, 3-year deal with BSN, who is, the major apparel provider for all the high schools. And we're taking advantage of that. Every athletic team this school year received brand new Nike uniforms. And we have to do that. If we don't, we're going to get pushed behind. And, that's what the kids want. So you got to play that game with them.
You may have mentioned several times about the school board and administration. Talk about how key it was to have people that wanted to put resources and time and effort into building these programs up, and how crucial it is to have a school board and a superintendent and the principal believing in sports and not working against you as you're trying to continue to grow Russell County.
Well, the beauty is they built all of these facilities 4 years ago to include a brand new track that goes around our football field. And for the first time ever, March 6th, we are hosting a track meet at Russell County High School. And they made the decision 4 years ago that athletics is important. Our academic side, our graduation rate is above 90%.
Wow.
Has not been there in years. So it's not just one side, it's both. It's the academics and the athletic sides that are both headed in the right direction. So it's time for us as athletic coaches and the athletic directors to show everybody the facilities that we have. We're hosting a softball tournament in a few weekends, March 7th and 8th, a varsity softball tournament. I've instructed and asked our band director, we have a new band director, we want to host a band concert, band festival. We want to do all the things that everybody else is doing. We need to showcase what our school board and superintendent spent money on to let everybody see what we have.
Coach Larry Knox, the athletic director at Russell County High School, is our guest on the Sportsvisions morning show this morning. And Coach, how important is it for you as the athletic director to have a positive open communication with all of your coaches? I mean, everybody, no matter what, whether it's football or whether it's golf, tennis, soccer, whatever. I mean, how important is it for you to have a great line of communication with all your coaches?
Well, it's very key. I have an open door policy. Everybody always asks, how come you never lock your office? Because I want them to feel like they can come in at any time they want. They can call me. I'm 24/7, and that's what Total Systems taught me. Being an athletic director, a principal is not an 8 to 4 job. It's a 24/7. Because if you're not available for your coaches when they need you, then they're not going to come see you when they need you. So it's key. I talk to coaches all day, every day, weekends, just making sure that they have what they need to be successful. And if they go to a game or something and see that, we need this, they know that we're going to work hard to get it. So that they can compete at the highest level.
Well, one thing's for sure that I don't know if a lot of your citizens and a lot of your followers know out there is that not only are you the athletic director, but you drive a bus. You deliver, you take the kids. I mean, that part of it just blows my mind. Not that you're above that, but the fact that you're willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean, we're not just Russell County, but every school system is short of bus drivers. So I initially got my CDL because I wanted to be able to get my team to the game at the time I wanted them to be there so they could adequately warm up and be prepared for the game. So when I came to Russell County, we were short, I think, 6 drivers. So, I drive a route every morning and afternoon. I get off the bus in the afternoon and go straight to setting up for whatever athletic event we have that day.
That's awesome, Coach. You're in the trenches, man. That is one thing Coach Knox is always known for. Did you know this was something that was your calling? Was being in charge, being a leader, being able to facilitate, people person, all the things it takes to be a good athletic director? Did you know early on, or when did you realize this was your calling?
Well, I go back to my total system years. I entered total systems at the age of 17 years old with just a high school degree. And after 18 years with no degree, I had worked my way up to director of operations. My dad was all involved in sports growing up. My dad refereed baseball in Columbus, basketball in Columbus, and I'm pretty confident he refereed DJ's games when he was at Carver.
Yes.
And so it's just been instilled in me from an early age. My father passed away when I was 17 years old. So it's just it's a way I can, still connect with him and do the things that he loved to do while I love doing them as well. My key's always been, my son was playing, so why not be involved? And it's easy to sit back, it's like Monday morning quarterbacks. It's easy to say what you would have done if you wasn't in the trenches on Sunday. So it's just my wife and I just made an effort when our son started playing to get involved, and it just led from there.
Coach Larry Knox is our guest on the Sportsvisions morning show here this morning. Coach, I want to take this opportunity to shout out, one group in particularly, the Russell County Sheriff Department. I know how much they support, the program, and I just, personally, from a standpoint of the luncheons that we do to honor these kids, and for them to step up the way they have, I think that's a credit to you, and that's a credit to that community.
Well, and they're huge in our success. Not only from a financial standpoint, they are one of our biggest, probably our biggest donor. But, we don't go many places without deputies. And we'll show up in an event and people say, "Who are y'all? The University of Alabama?" It's just nice to know that we can go wherever and play whoever and not have to worry about the safety of our kids. And, they're there. We went to the regionals last year, and Deputy Gillenwater and I were walking around while our team was in the locker room. And when the team came out, we were standing there, and the guy that was in charge of the locker room, he said, "What do you do at Russell County?" I said, "I'm the athletic director." And he said, "You have your own deputy?" It was just Gillenwater and I looked at each other, and I was like, "No, sir, he's here for the whole team. We're just friends." And so, but the sheriff's department, Sheriff Taylor is a huge reason that we are successful, and a lot of the deputies went to Russell County.
Yes.
I saw Chief Alexander the other day, and for 10 minutes, he just talked about how proud he was of Russell County, and he was glad that they were getting the success that they deserved. And he was like, "What's next steps?" And he asked me about the new building, why it wasn't a football facility. And I had to remind him that it was football operations. So they get a new weight room, new locker room, new equipment room, coaches' offices. We got an athletic training room that everybody can use, a plunge pool for ice baths that every team will use, a nutrition room. And then the next two items, we got a dedicated cheerleading room and a dedicated wrestling room.
Great.
So that I don't think anybody else around us has that. When you talk about our school board and the money that they put in,
right?
The track equipment that they just bought for us to be able to hold track equipment, track event, it's over $100,000.
Wow.
So they're committed. They want to see Russell County athletics as a whole, not just one sport. And that's the beauty about all of this, DJ and Thrift, is that everybody's committed to make sure that all of our teams are successful, not just the big teams.
Coach Knox, we certainly appreciate you sharing that information with us, man. And again, congratulations and keep up the great work, man.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
All right. That's Coach Larry Knox, the athletic director of Russell County, the Warriors.
Yeah, he's a dang good dude, man.
Oh,
great dude.
Yeah.
Doing a great job all the right way. And you're seeing why they're having the fruits of the labor from the success.
Also, we learned some things that I just didn't know about him as well. I didn't know he spent that much time with Total Systems.
I didn't either.
Again.
He was a corporate guy before he got into the actual part of being the AD.
And that certainly explains why he's able to, of course, lead and be successful at what he's doing in there with all those facilities, with all of those great coaches and administrators down there. And we are so grateful that he's a friend of ours.
Yeah, exactly right, man. What a show today, DJ.
Indeed. Very much so. And of course, we'll be right back here tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. as we are each weekday morning, and have some surprises for you. Well, you hear the music. You know what that means. That's going to do it for this edition of the Sports Visions Morning Show. On behalf of Thrift Barringer, I'm DJ Jones, reminding you to keep your eye on the ball.
You've been listening to the Sports Visions Morning Show with DJ Jones and Thrift Barringer. Brought to you by Global Diagnostic Services and the Finley Firm. This is Sports Visions 92.1.
I tried to teach you, but I need some lessons. I need to give it all. I tried to live, but I can't. I don't know why you're the one. Turn me out of my mind.